What if Bella Swan returned as the world's most powerful vampire? Just after I was changed, I went to seek the Volturi. Arrow was quite interested in me, but I knew that he was scared of me. Power practically radiated off of me. The day after I killed Victoria, I had learned that I had more than one power. I could shapeshift into any animal that I wanted. I could control the weather. I could read minds. I could also move things with my mind. I also knew that I would develop more powers as I grew older. My strength was 10 times that of Emmett's, though I didn't have as big muscles. My beauty made Rosalie seem human. I had beautiful, long, dark hair with silver streaks. I don't know how it happened, but my hair changed. My eyes were a mix between topaz and burgundy, since I fed off humans and animals. My nose was straighter. My lips were full and pouty. My skin pale and beautiful. I was taller now. I was 5 inches 8 or 5 inches 10. Everyone was afraid of me. Arrow Fina. LLY asked me to become part of his coven. I decided since I didn't have anywhere else to go that I would. I became part of a guard system of the Volturi. We were called the Vampires, made of only girl vampires that were trained in combat. I was the leader. We punished all those who made promises to the Volturi but didn't keep them. It was just like the promise Edward made to change me so we could leave. He never kept that promise. Bella, yelled Reese, interrupting my thoughts of the past. What? If you want to talk to me, then come up to my room, I yelled, my voice sounding like thunder with its natural venom. She walked into the room. The Volturi have another job for us, Reese told me. Reese was my best friend. Who is it this time and how many Fs do they want to go? I said, not see. Airing, because I knew we could take anyone. I never got a challenge. It was so boring. They live in Denali, which is somewhere in Alaska. We only have to kill one of them. Her name is Tanya. She promised Ed she would kill this human that found out about vampires. But she didn't. I think she was in love with him. So we have a human and vampire to kill. They want you and me to go, she replied. I snorted. A human and vampire. Why would they want both of us? It's just a human and a vampire. Hardly a challenge. Well, apparently there is another coven that joined theirs, and covens tend to get pissed and aggravated when someone kills one of their own. She told me. I've noticed that, I replied with a smile. Well, get packed and don't pack more than you need to. We don't a repeat of the last assignment, I told her. I remembered when she had bought like 3 bags just to go to London. By the way, what other clan is staying with them? I asked curiously. The Cullens, she replied. My smile quickly faded. The thought of seeing Edward again gave me a feeling that was all too familiar. Revenge. My smile returned. I would finally get to hurt them like they hurt me. What are you smiling at? Reese asked me. Don't you know who the Cullens are? I asked. No, she replied. I rolled my eyes. It always surprised me how much she forgets. They're the vamps who left me. They are the reason I became a vampire. Not that I'm complaining, but they left me to die, I said with a revenge-seeking look on my face. A predatory smile came onto her face. She was protective of me because I was one of her best friends. She was very pissed when she found out what the Cullens did to me. She would help me get revenge. If I were the Cullens, I would be very afraid. So if they happen to get in the eye with our mission, she started to say, then we might just have to hurt them. I finished for her. She nodded eagerly. Let's get packed, I told her. Wear something besides dark colors. She was always telling me to wear bright colors like red or pink. My favorite colors were midnight purple and black. Edward always hated to wear black. Plus they look great on me. We don't all love pink like, I shot back. She stuck her tongue out at me. Sometimes she acted like a 5-year-old instead of a 100-year-old vampire. After we were done packing, we headed to greet Arrow. We walked in and he greeted us with his usual hug. I'm not really a hugging type of person. Reese, Bella, how are you tonight? Arrow asked us in his usual happy voice. I saw some of the Volturi guards eyeing me with interest. I rolled my eyes. The vampiress and the Volturi were pressuring me to find a mate. No one interested me, and I knew no one ever wild. I had been there and done that. I didn't want to be dependent on some guy. Hello Arrow, I replied. So you know the mission. You will no fail me, will you? He said with a smile. Have we ever failed you? I said in a testy voice. Was he saying that we would fail him? No, but you know the drill. Give her the warning. If she does not change or kill the human, then you must kill them both. His voice full of authority. We must go. I had to get out of here. Oh Bella, you should pick a mate soon. It hurts me to see you so lonely. He looked at me with a flirty smile. Was he hitting on me? Ew. We quickly left and headed for the airport. Here, I gave Reese the tickets. Go see what time we board the plane. She walked up to the counter. The person behind the desk was male, so naturally his mouth fell open. I snorted. Reese had fiery red hair with topaz and burgundy eyes. Her diet was the same as mine. She fed on humans and animals too. Her skin was flawless. She was about my height, and loved to wear bright colors. She was way prettier than Rosalie. I rolled my eyes at the fact that the man's tongue was hanging out of his mouth. Reese walked over looking annoyed. Get a date? I asked, trying to keep a straight face. At least I'm not the one who had Arrow hitting on her, she shot back. I glared at her. Flight to Alaska now boarding, said a voice over the intercom. We boarded the plane quickly. I got the window seat. The stewardess asked if we wanted anything. No, we answered in unison. She walked off to go bother someone else. I started to remember things about Edward's and mine past. I remembered the meadow that was so beautiful and peaceful. The surprises he used to give me. I remembered all the times he had saved me. A wave of anger came over me. I was weak back then. Nothing more than a pathetic girl who was too dependent on a man. I wanted to be changed for the both of us. But he wanted me to remain human. He loved to see me blush. He loved it when he had to rescue me when I tripped. He didn't understand how utterly weak I felt. I then remember the day he left me. Flashback. When will you be back? I asked. I'll be back when I'm done hunting. He had a smile on his face, but it did not touch his eyes. Okay, just hurry back. I already miss you. I knew something was wrong. Okay. He kissed me on the chin. End of flashback. How could I be so gullible? I knew that something was wrong. He will pay. As soon as we landed, we checked into our hotel. Welcome. How may I help you? The front desk lady asked. Reservation under Swan. Okay. She handed us our room keys. Hurry up, Reese, I yelled. Our hotel room was luxurious as always. Hey, Bella, do you want to go to a club? It's supposed to be good. I'm getting bored. Uh-oh, Reese was worse than Emmett when she got bored. I could go for some dancing. I was bored too. I see. Couldn't wait till I saw the look on Edward's face when he sees me tomorrow. I dressed in a black miniskirt and a black shirt with white writing that said "Bite Me." Reese wore a blue halter top with a matching skirt that went to about mid-thigh. She had her hair in a ponytail. I left my hair down. We got into our black Porsche. It was very fast. I had to agree with Edward on the fact that speed is wonderful. We got there in 2 minutes. Luckily, like Edward, the first have built-in radar. We walked in the club to find every man gaping at us and their girlfriends glaring at us. I smiled. Time for some fun. Want to show them how to dance? Reese asked me. I just nodded my head. We both picked a guy to dance with. It didn't matter if they had girlfriends. They danced with us anyway. Our dance partner's eyes filled with lust. I laughed when my dance partner grabbed my ass. I won't even tell you what he was thinking. I looked at Reese. Her guy's eyes were as lust. Both the guys disgusted me. I F'd him standing in the middle of the dance floor wondering where I went. I motioned to Reese to come over. I'm going to show these people how to dance, I told her. She smiled. I got on the bar and started to dance. Every man's eyes were watching me. After 5 minutes of dancing, the club door opened. A scent that I hadn't smelt in 75 years came to me from across the room. I stopped dancing and my head snapped up. Edward and the Cullens had come into the club. I cloaked my scent and presence from them. I made sure no one remembered me or thought about while Edward was here. I jumped down before they saw me. Seeing them made all the hate that I had felt for them come back. Only it was worse. I made my way to Reese. We have to leave now, I told her. Why? What's wrong? I pointed to Edward and his family. She hurriedly followed me out of the club. I chanced one last look at them. They were facing away from me. Be careful, my dear Edward. We will meet again. Remember, payback is a bitch, I whispered. I ran out of the club. Reese was waiting for me. Well, wasn't that a coincidence? Reese, a large part of me is telling me to take revenge. But there is that annoying little voice, da conscience, telling me that they used to be my family. I was aggravated. Well, which voice is louder? The revenge side. Well, soon the revenge side of you will stop whispering. Soon it will scream for you to take action, she said in a hushed voice. I'm hungry. Do you want animal or human this time? I asked Reese. There are no forests around here. Well, okay, then human. But we don't kill. We don't want to look conspicuous, I warned her. Okay, but let's hurry. We can get into the pool after it closes. We did not kill humans. We had control over our senses when we feed. Unlike Edward and his clan. It took us years to master that particular sense. We weren't heartless. We didn't kill humans for fun. We fed, We took what we needed and wiped their memories. One of my powers. When we got back to the hotel, we snuck into the pool. I loved to swim. I had to be careful to only swim after dark though because I swam faster than any human could. We had been swimming for about 20 minutes when I heard voices. I heard a familiar voice. Edward's. I motioned for Reese to go underwater. She went down into the water. I followed. We just have to know what these vamps are doing here. That was Edward's voice. Even though I was underwater I could still hear them. I can't see their faces, all I know is that they are vampires. That came from Alice. Well, I know that we need to know about these vampires, but do we have to do it in the middle of the night? Emmett. Going to go to sleep, Em? Jasper. Well, what I want to do has to do with a bed and Rosalie, Emmett replied calmly. I heard a smack. I assumed it was Rosalie. Stop arguing, we are here for one reason only, and that is to check out these vamps to see if they are vegetarians or the other kind, Carlisle. They were inside the hotel now. It was safe to come up now. I motioned to Reese. We came to the surface. I was pissed. Reese, did you forget to cloak all of your presents? I said in calm voice. Reese knew what kind of voice this was. It scared her how pissed I was. Well, I might not have cloaked all of my presents, but I cloaked some, she said in a nervous voice. You should have cloaked your entire presents. I didn't want them to know we were here till we were ready, I screeched. Now I want you to get to that room before they do and get Tem to leave. I will then wipe any memory that they have of us. They will not see me. Now go, I said with my voice demanding. She left silently. I quickly climbed up the balcony so that I could hear what was going on. I could hear voices. May I help you? Came Reese's voice. It sounded calm, but anyone who knew her well knew that she was agitated. Yes, well, we're vampires and we were hoping that you were vegetarian. But according to your eye color I would say not. Carlisle, we would ask you to keep from hunting in this area. I listened in on their thoughts. I hope Rosalie is not mad at me. If not, I can't wait to get home. I blocked his thoughts out. I didn't want to know what else he was thinking. Maybe we could get her to join our coven. She could become a vegetarian. Jasper did it. I don't see why she couldn't. Carlisle, I wonder why I couldn't see her face in my vision. Alice feels nervous about the fact that she couldn't see her face. Jasper, why am I here? I could be at home doing my nails. This girl seems like a real bitch. Rosalie, Esme was just worrying over her kids. I thought I smelled Bella. I must really be losing it. Edward, I just tuned them all out. Well, I was wondering if you would like to come back to the coven with us, seeing as you're all alone. Carlisle asked. No thanks. I'm leaving soon anyway, said Reese in a cold voice. Okay, well, here is the address if you change your mind. Reese smiled a tight smile. As soon as I was sure they were gone, I climbed back in the window. That was close. You know what this means, don't you? I asked her. What? We are going to have to confront Tanya and probably the rest of them tomorrow. It's sooner than I planned, but I will get even. He will regret hurting me. I flashed her a predatory smile. She smiled back. Come tomorrow, I was going to face the one person that left me. The person that caused me all the pain I had. What are you going to do when you see Edward? Reese asked curiously. I am thinking maybe see how he's been doing these past 75 years, I said sarcastically. We got ready for the confrontation. I dressed in a black miniskirt, with a strapless top that barely covered my navel. I wore fishnet stockings and boots that came up to my knee. I sharpened my nails. I dipped my nails in ink and put a tattoo on the side of my face. Reese wore a red halter top with red leather pants and black boots. She also put tattoos on the side of her face. We looked hot but dangerous. We did this every time we went on a mission. I pulled out the address. Soon we were in the Porsche. I sped to 120 miles per hour immediately after we were on the road. I parked a mile away. I listened in on the thoughts in the house. I learned that Tanya and the Cullens had gone hunting. I smelled the air. They had gone north. We followed their scent to a clearing. I looked and saw the Cullen clan there. But I didn't see Tanya. She must be somewhere else. All of their heads snapped up as we started to walk out of the trees. They turned around. When they saw Reese and me, their eyes went wide with surprise. But none of their looks could have been compared to Edward's look. His face had many emotions on it. Anger, sadness, surprise, hurt, love. Hello, lover. Miss me? I asked him. Bella, said Edward. Yeah, I said. How are you a vampire? Why haven't you tried to find me, and how come they said you died? He demanded. Well, right after you left without telling me, I went to your house. I realized that you were gone. Someone very interesting showed up. She had red hair. She hated me because of what you did to her mate. Can you guess who? I asked in a mocking tone. Victoria. His eyes flashed with anger. Don't be mad, Edward, because I was right about the fact that I wouldn't regret becoming a vampire. I love it. I'm no longer the weak, defenseless Bella. I am a very powerful vampire. But anyway, now on with the story. Victoria planned to kill me after I was done with the conversion. But it backfired on her. Instead, I killed her. I never imagined that I would be so strong. I went to the Volturi and they asked me to join their coven. I did. I became the leader of a guard system called the Vampirus. It is made of girl vampires trained in combat. As for why you thought I was dead, I faked my death. As for your other question, well, you left me and so I didn't seek you out. Alice made a move to hug me. I hit her in the chest. Not enough to hurt her, but enough to knock her off her feet. They all stare at me in shock. Jasper looked pissed. Now Alice, you don't think I forgave you for leaving me without a trace? I'm not really the hugging type, I told her. You stupid bitch. How dare you attack my sister? Rosalie. Now Rosalie, that's not very nice. I am not a bitch, I told her with a smile. You can read minds, said Edward. Among other things, I remember what you were like, Rose. You were so jealous of me because I was human. You wanted so much to be human. But guess what, sweetheart, you're not, I told her, looking at her straight in the eye. Bite me, she snapped. Well, Edward was supposed to do that, but he wasn't vampire enough, I shot back. What's happened to you? You are so different, Edward asked with hurt eyes. You happened to me. You left me alone. All of you did. You were supposed to be my friends. You were supposed to love me. But you didn't even have the courage to tell me you were leaving. They all winced when I said this. Now I don't have any business with you. Tell me where Tanya is. No one will get hurt, I told them. That's not going to happen. This came from Emmett. I smiled. Fine, but you can't say we didn't warn you. Reese, you get Carlisle, Esme, and Jasper. I'll get the rest. But don't kill them, I ordered her. Then we attacked. I went for Rosalie first. I hit her so hard that she was knocked unconscious. Emmett came after me next. I was too fast for him. I scatched him and then kicked him to the ground. Alice was next. She looked at me with sadness, pity, and anger. I kicked her, sending her 20 feet. Last but not least, came Edward. I fought him with all my might, putting all my hurt, frustration, and anger out on him. He fought back, but it wasn't enough. I heard Tanya come out of the woods and head toward me. I whipped around and grabbed her by the neck. The Volturi have a message, I told her. Change or kill the human or we'll do it for you. I looked over at Reese. The rest of the clan was unconscious. I threw Tanya back. I looked back at Edward. I'll see you soon, I told him. That's where I left him. As Reese and I ran, I wondered what kind of person had I become. Reese and I ran back to the car. What kind of person had I become? I hurt the only people who had called me family. I had called them family. Snap out of it, I told myself. They betrayed you and left you to die. The anger came back. I was not just any vampire. I was the leader of the Vampirus. I was a deadly assassin that strikes fear in anyone I meet. I was not going to give in. The old Bella would have given in. The old Bella would just run right back into his arms. The new Bella was a tough bitch. I quickly got into the driver's side of the Porsche. I hit 200 as we got on the road. The trees flew by in a blur. But I could see every detail. We have to spy on them to see if they keep the promise. We will give them 3 days. Tomorrow I will shapeshift and spy on them. I want you to find the human and watch him. I commanded her. We will be going home soon. Are you done with your revenge? She knew I wasn't. No, but I don't know what I'm going to next. I just want to do something to make him realize how much he hurt me. How vulnerable he made me feel. I sighed in frustration. She nodded. I felt so numb. I pushed it away. I was a warrior. I was not someone who went twittering on about their feelings. Well, I have one word for you. Jealousy. I smiled at her. That was a good idea. I saw that punch you gave Rosalie. It was like one hit and the bitch goes down. I laughed. She was a real bitch to me when I was human. She was jealous of me. It was the fact that I was human. She wants to be human. I don't know why, but she does. When we got to the hotel, I told Reese I was going to take a swim. I needed to clear my head. Why was I having these thoughts? He hurt me more than anything in the world. But he was the one who I loved the most. That was why his leaving hurt me the way it did. But that was in the past. The Bella Swan they knew was dead. She no longer existed. So why was I feeling this way? Was it possible that I still loved him? No, I couldn't possibly love him. I had been swimming for about 4 hours when I heard footsteps. I dived underwater. I know you're there, Bella. It was Alice. Her voice sounded strangled. I went to the surface. She didn't look well. I guess she was still healing. I climbed out of the pool. What are you doing here? That's a good look for you. My smile was predatory. Why don't you sit down? I motioned to the pool chairs. It was about 2 in the morning, so I knew that we wouldn't be overheard. We sat down on the chairs. So how's your family? I asked casually. She glared at me. I just smiled. You used to be a part of that family, she snapped. Used to, past tense, as in no longer a part of your family, I snapped back. Why are you here anyway? I thought when I kicked your ass you would get the picture. Amelie hurt me more than anything in the world. I just thought I would return the favor, I hissed. Who have you become, Bella? You used to be the most caring and sweetest person we had ever met, she told me in a hurt voice. Don't play coy with me, princess. How dare you even ask me that? Edward left me without a word. He was supposed to love me. You were my best friend. You're just as traitorous as he is. I said with such venom that she took a step back. Clouds began to move in. Lightning cracked in the background. My emotions were getting the best of me. I breathed. The clouds started to clear. Alice is staring at me wide-eyed. You can control the weather? Among other things, I repeated what I said in the clearing. I never knew you could have so much rage in you. Edward still loves you. I'll just telling him that he's wasting his time. Having said that, she walked away. I growled. As soon as she was out of earshot, I said, So Edward, you still love me. I can fix that. I walked back to the hotel room. Reese was taking a shower. I decided to pay Tanya a little visit. I dressed in black leather pants and spaghetti strap shirt. I left a note for Reese. I quickly got into the car. I was soon in their driveway. They didn't hear me coming. They were probably too busy healing. I walked up to the front door and knocked. I actually knocked. Edward answered. Hello, lover. How are you today? I asked him. He looked so sad. One part of me was like so. But the other part felt sad too. What do you want? Emmett growled as he appeared in the doorway. Had appeared. I came to see you, I said sarcastically. I want to see Tanya. Well, you can't see her, Emmett snapped. Do you really want me to force my way in? Trust me, you will not like the outcome, I hissed at him. I saw a flicker of fear flash in his eyes. Edward would still not look at me. They both moved and let me in. A boy was sitting on the couch. I assumed that he was part of the coven. Could you go get Tanya? I asked. He was out of the room in a moment. Soon the whole coven was there, and that included the Cullen family. They were all glaring at me. Why do you all look so mad? I didn't do anything wrong, did I? I tried to look worried. Tell us what you came to tell us. Then you can get the hell out, Jasper told me. This has to do with the human that knows about you. We have decided to give you 3 days to either change him or kill him. If you do not, then we will do it for you. You will not like what we choose and you will suffer the punishment, I told them. We won't let you hurt him, Tanya told me. I'm afraid you can't stop me, I replied. The odds don't look good for you though. A coven of 30 vampires against 2 vampires, Rosalie snapped with a satisfied smile. I've had worse. That wiped the smile off her face. Remember 3 days. With that I walked off. I parked my car a mile away. I then transformed into a house cat. I walked up to their house and listened to their conversation. Edward's paw of cause, you know you want to know. This is right after they get home from the clearing. I can't believe that it was the same person. Had I really hurt her that bad? She was so different. She was so strong and powerful. She knocked Emmett unconscious with no effort. I can't believe that was Bella, Alice said in a sad voice. I know, said Jasper. I don't think she likes us much. No shit, Sherlock. Emmett snapped, putting an ice pack on the scratches Bella had inflicted on him. She is too powerful. She knocked Rosalie, me, Alice, Tanya unconscious. Then she hurt Edward without any effort. Her friend isn't as powerful, but she is still powerful, Carlyle informed them. How is that the sweet Bella we all know turned into that? Esme asked. We did it to her. We left her and hurt her more than any of us can imagine. I have never felt more anger and hurt coming off another person, Jasper told us all. At this everyone except Rosalie winced. Well, she is a bitch and deserves whatever pain she gets, Rosalie yelled. Shut up, Rosalie. You are just mad because she kicked your ass, snapped Alice. I had been quiet the entire time they were having this conversation. What I want to know is who the vampires are, asked Carlyle. I have heard of them, I said. They are a group in the Volturi that makes sure that makes everything go smoothly in the vampire world. They make sure no humans find out about vampires. They also make sure that the promises made to the Volturi are kept. They are deadly and very good at what they do. They are very powerful. Everyone was taking this in. I'm going to see Bella, yelled Alice. There was instantly an uproar. No, you are not, everyone shouted in unison. Yes, I am, and I'll be back soon, she replied. Before any of us could object, she was gone. It seemed like days, but it was only an hour later when Alice returned. Well, how did it go? I demanded. We underestimated her power, she stated. Apparently she has more than one power. She probably has about 4 or 5. Did she use her power on you? Demanded Jasper. No, but I kind of pissed her off, and then clouds and lightning came. She took a breath and the clouds left. I asked if she controlled the weather and she said, among other things. The family looked at her in awe. There was a knock on the door. I went to answer the door. It was Bella. I was shocked to see her. Hello, lover. How are you? She said in a mocking tone. How could I have hurt her so much? Emmett came by my side. I couldn't speak. I was too ashamed. What the hell are you doing here? Demanded Emmett. Bella didn't look at all scared. I came to see you, she said sarcastically. Emmett looked taken back. I came to see Tanya. Well, you can't see her, snarled Emmett. Do you really want me to force my way in? Trust me, you will not like the outcome, she hissed. Emmett looked scared. He was remembering what she did in the clearing. Silently we moved out of the way. She walked in and told a boy on the couch to go get Tanya. Soon the whole coven was here. I came to discuss the human. We have decided to give you 3 days to either change him or kill him. If you do not, then we will do it for you. You will not like what we choose to do. You will also face the punishment, she stated. We will not let you hurt him, Tanya said, but I could tell she was afraid. I'm afraid you can't stop me, Bella said matter-of-factly. The odds are against you. A coven of 30 vampires against 2 vampires. Rosalie was picturing hurting her. I've had worse, she replied. We were all shocked. After she reminded us we only had 3 days, she walked off. We were all silent. No matter what, I was going to get her back, I told myself. Bella Pav, I have been spying for a day now and still they do nothing. I decided I would present myself to them. 75 years did nothing for my patience. I was in the form as a house cat. I scratched on the door. Alice opened it. You are such a cute kitty, she told me. I wanted to gag. All of the Cullens were sitting in the living room. Look, I found a kitty, Alice told them the obvious. I then transformed into a vampire again. The reaction was priceless. They all fell to the floor. They had the look of surprise and awe. I laughed so hard it would have hurt if I were human. What are you doing here? Rosalie, who was trying to recover from shock, asked this. I came to see if you have decided what you're going to do, I said. No, we haven't, Tanya replied. You better hurry. Time is running out. I looked at her. My cell phone rang. I answered it. It was Reese. Meet me at the club. I want to have some fun, she said over the phone. Okay. I looked back at the Cullens. Well, I'm going to the club, I told them. We are going with you, yelled Alice with excitement. The Cullens nodded in agreement. This was going to be interesting. Bella's Pav. I told them I was going home to get dressed. But you know Alice, she told me she had something for me. She tried to pull me into her bathroom. I gave her a look that could melt metal. So she just gave me the outfit and left me to get ready. The outfit was in a bag. I opened the bag and screamed. I ran downstairs in my bra and panties. The Cullen family and some of the coven were in the living room. All the men were gaping at me, practically drooling. I didn't care who saw me. I knew it took all the self-control Edward had not to jump on me. What the hell did you pick out for me to wear? I yelled at her. You do know that you're in your bra and panties. Alice looked nervous. So, I answered. They looked shocked that I didn't care. Would I have come down here if I cared? Well, what is wrong with the dress? Alice asked timidly. It's pink, I shrieked. I do not wear pink. I wear dark colors. I look better that way. I only agreed to get ready here because it would save time. Now you give me this pink dress. I'll pick you out something better. I don't think you would want to go to the club in bra and panties, Alice said to me. It's not like I haven't before. I really haven't, but I wanted to bother Edward. Edward's mouth dropped. Well, we wouldn't mind if you went in just that, said a man in the coven. He was sitting on the couch, smiling. Edward growled. I gave the man a flirty smile. What's your name? I asked him. Ben, he answered. Well, if you're going to the club with us, then save me a dance. I walked over to Edward. You're going to catch flies with your mouth hanging open like that. I went upstairs with Alice following. Would you like this? Alice was holding a midnight purple dress that said, "I bite." "Okay, thanks," I replied. She walked out of the room. I quickly got dressed. I put my hair in a ponytail with ringlets. I didn't need any anyway. I put tattoos on my face again. The tattoos can come off if anyone is wondering. They were an elegant design. I put on black stilettos. I walked down the stairs and again all the men that were there gaped at me. Rosalie looked jealous. Alice looked excited. Emmett just gaped, as did Jasper and Edward. I walked by them as if I noticed nothing. Alice was eyeing my tattoos. "How do you do those tattoos?" she asked. "Oh, I put my nails in ink and then draw a tattoo on my face. They come off though. Could you give me a tattoo?" she begged. "Sure." I sighed. "Maybe I should pee." "Oot, I bring strange cats into the house." She glared at me. In the end I put Jasper's name on the side of her face. Why was I being so nice? "Come on people." I looked at them. When they finally collected themselves they headed out the door. "Would you like to ride with us?" Alice asked. "No thanks, I have a Porsche about a mile from here," I answered. "You have a Porsche," said Emmett, completely forgetting that he was mad that I kicked his ass. "Yes," I answered cautiously. "I'm riding with Bella," yelled Emmett. "Me too," yelled Alice. "Same here," said Edward. "Fine, follow me." I gave in. I ran to the car. I could tell that they liked the car. "Well, get in." I got in the driver's seat. Edward got in the passenger's seat, much to my annoyance. Alice and Emmett got in the back. I turned onto the road. I sped to 200 immediately. The one thing that Edward was right about was that speed was awesome. "You actually like driving fast," commented Alice. "Well, when I turned vampire I actually learned how to really drive. Plus I have a built-in radar." The fact that I had remembered all these years surprised Edward. But the old memories only reminded me of the fact that he left me and my hands tightened on the steering wheel. When we got there I did a 180-degree swerve and parked in place. They were very impressed with the way I drove. There was a line but I didn't care. I walked up to the bouncer. "Can we go in?" I asked in an alluring voice. He was dazed as he let us in. I loved going to clubs. I saw Reese. I walked over to her. "What's with the stalkers?" She pointed to the Cullens. "They wanted to come and I didn't feel like arguing," I said in an annoyed voice. "Plus it will give me a chance to bother Edward." She smiled. Another song started. I got up on the bar just like last time. I started to dance in a way that would make a stripper blush. When the song ended I jumped down from the bar. A man came up to me and asked me to dance. I obliged. We started to dance and I heard Edward growl. I just smiled. All of a sudden the man was ripped away from me. There stood Edward. "What did you do that for?" I shouted angrily. "Because I wanted to dance with," he answered simply. "Well, too bad you can't," I hissed. A slow song came on. "Great, just in time." He pulled me close to him. I glare at him. "Please, just one dance," I sighed in defeat. We started to dance. "I've missed you, Bella," he told me. I was uninterested in what he had to say. "Why won't you forgive me?" he asked. "Because you don't deserve forgiveness," I hissed. He looked hurt. He bent down and kissed me. I couldn't help but kiss him back. But then I realized what I was doing. I pulled back and slapped him. He would have a hand mark on his face. He looked at me with pain in his eyes. I walked away, leaving him on the dance floor. The Cullen family, exclude Carlisle and Esme, followed me to the door. Reese saw what had happened and she walked over to me. "Bella, what the hell?" yelled Emmett. "How could you do that to him?" yelled Alice. Rosalie and Jasper just looked pissed. "Because payback is a bitch. You will do well to remember that," I told them. I was about to walk away when I suddenly remembered a question. "By the way, why are you guys acting so nice? I thought you would be mad at me for kicking your asses." I was really confused about that. "Because Bella, we love you and we forgive the people we love," Alice answered. All of the Cullens except Rosalie nodded. "I wish I could be that forgiving, but unfortunately I'm not," I replied back. "How dare you? They forgive you or what you did to them and you can't forgive them." Then, Rosalie did the most dangerous thing someone could do. She slapped me. My eyes turned pitch black. Lightning cracked. The thunder was deafening. Oh, I heard Reese whisper. "No one hits me," I said in the most terrifying voice anyone had ever heard. I struck Rosalie so hard that I was sure I heard a crack. She flew out into the alley outside. Good, no one to watch then. The winds were terrible. I was getting out of control. Finally Alice, Reese, Edward, and Jasper got me under control while Emmett went to see if Rosalie was all right. Once I was all right they let me go. Rosalie was fine. She would have a bruise in the morning. The fact that I had cracked her jaw had already healed. The wind settled and the thunder quit. It's been so long since I got that mad. I was out of control, I told her. Just be thankful that you didn't hit her with your telekinesis power. She would have been hurt then, she told me. I got up and walked over to Rosalie. I'm sorry, Rosalie. I let my anger get the better of me. I shouldn't have lost control like that, I told her. Wow, she apologized. This is a momentous occasion. She hardly apologizes to anyone, said Reese from behind me. I shot her a glare. It's okay, Bella. I shouldn't have slapped you. Rosalie was actually forgiving me. The whole clan was in awe that Rosalie gave me and kind of apologized to me for slapping me. Reese's cell phone rang. She picked up and listened. After she got off, she was smiling. What are you smiling about? I asked her. 2 words. Street racing, she replied. I started to smile. Edward's paw right when Bella screeches Alice's name because of the pink dress. Alice, I heard Bella screech. What the hell? Then Bella comes into the room wearing nothing but bra and panties. My eyes bug out as well as my brother's. She had the perfect body. Wait a second. There were other vampires from the coven here too. They were all gaping at my Bella. I listened in on their thoughts. Wow, she is hot. How can she walk down here in a bra and panties? Well, I hope she does all the time. Wow, she is hot. Emmett. I growl. Sorry, Edward, please don't tell Rose. And Edward had a hard time keeping his hands off her before. It's going to be even harder now, Jasper. I tuned the rest of the male vampire's thoughts because I knew that I would attack them if I listened any longer. Jasper was right, it was taking all of my self-control not to carry her up to the bedroom right now. She would probably kill me if I tried. What the hell did you pick out for me to wear? She yelled. It must have been bad if she had this reaction to it. You do know that you are in your bra and panties? Alice asked. So, I wouldn't have come down here if I cared, she replied. Well, what's wrong with the dress? Asked Alice in a small voice. It's pink, she yells. I do not wear pink. Okay. Well, let me get you something else. I'm sure you don't want to go to the club in your bra and panties, stated Alice. It's not like I haven't before, she replied. This got a few gasps. My mouth dropped. She went out in public in nothing but bra and panties. We wouldn't mind if you went in just that, said a guy named Ben. She asked him his name and he told it to her. Save me a dance if you go to the club. Was she trying to get me to attack this guy? She walked over to me and whispered. You're going to catch flies with your mouth hanging open like that. With that she walked upstairs with Alice following her. Wow, I can't believe Bella, blush at everything Bella. Walked down here in bra and panties, said Emmett. Alice walked down the stairs. She is getting ready, she thought. Bella walked down 15 minutes later. She was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. She had tattoos on her face but they made her look like a warrior. Alice asked how she did it and she explained. She put a tattoo on Alice of Jasper's name. I could tell that Jasper was pleased. Would you like a ride with us? Alice asked her. No, I have a Porsche parked not far from here, she replied. She had a Porsche. She must like speed. Emmett, Alice, and I volunteered to ride with her. We ran to a black Porsche. She got in the driver's seat and I got in the passenger's seat. She drove really fast. Bella, you like to speed now, said Alice. Yeah, well, when I became a vampire I became a better driver. Plus I have a built-in radar, she replied. She remembered that day that she found out that I was a vampire. Her hands seemed to tighten around the steering wheel. And we got there, she walked up to the bouncer and flirted with him to let her in. I didn't like his thoughts. He was dazed as he let us in. Well, looks like she can daze anyone too. She walked over to her friend and started talking to her. I couldn't hear them over the music. She then got on the bar and started to dance. OMG, everyone was gaping at her. They seemed to do that a lot. She then got off bar after a while like she was bored with it. A guy asked her to dance. She started to dance with him. I was jealous. How dare he put his hands all over my Bella? I growled. I pulled him away from her. What the hell did you do that for? She yelled. I want to dance with you, I told her. It was really a plea. Well, you can't, she snapped. A slow song started. Just in time, I pulled her loose to me. She just glared at me. Please, just one dance, I begged her. She sighed in defeat. We started to dance. She was a way better dancer than she was when she was human. I've missed you, I told her. That was all she said. It seemed like she wasn't paying attention. Why can't you forgive me? I asked. I just wanted her to forgive me. You don't deserve forgiveness, she hissed. That hurt. Why couldn't she forgive me? Didn't she remember all those times we had together? I would make her remember. I bent down and kissed her. She responded for a few seconds. Then she pulled back and slapped me. It really hurt. With one last look she walked away. My family followed her to the door. They started talking. I didn't bother trying to hear them. I couldn't move or speak. I just hurt. It felt like that day at the clearing. I looked up to see Rosalie slap Bella. Bella's eyes turned pitch black. Her friend Reese looked worried. Bella punched her so hard she was knocked into the alley. Bella followed her out. I could sense she was pissed. I ran outside. The wind was fierce. The thunder was deafening. I helped restrain her while Emmett went to help Rosalie. Once she was in control we let her go. She talked to Reese. She looked so sad. She walked over to Rosalie and did the last thing I thought she would do. She apologized. To my big surprise Rosalie forgave her. Reese's PHNE rang. She picked it up and talked for a few seconds. "What are you smiling at?" Bella asked. "2 words. Street racing," Reese said in an excited voice. Bella started to smile. Bella liked street racing. Bella's POV. Street racing was my favorite pastime. I loved it, and if I do say so myself I'm pretty good at it. I never used my car during the car races. If I did then it would be destroyed by now. Instead we bought extra cars and worked on the engine to make it go faster. It was kind of like what Rosalie liked doing. But I don't let anyone mess with my cars except Reese or me. "You like street racing?" Emmett asked. "Please, she is the best and is very competitive," Reese told everyone. "Okay, listen people, how many cars have we got?" I looked pointedly at Reese. "We have 2. I could only get 2 on short notice. They will be at the hotel." I could tell that Reese was annoyed that we could only get 2 cars. The more competition the better. "Okay, since we only have 2 cars and there are 7 of us we have to have 4 in one car and 3 in the other. Reese and I are the drivers, since we got the cars, and we drive better." The whole Cullen clan looked offended at this. "We should decide who drives with who," I told them. I didn't have a doubt that Edward would be in my group. "You have to have 4 people in your group because you're a better driver than I am," Reese said matter-of-factly. "Fine, so who is in my group?" All of the Cullens raised their hands. "Feeling the love guys," said Reese in a playful hurt voice. "Well guess you got all 5 Cullens in your car. I warn you though, Bella's driving will be the thrill of your life. Her street racing driving is completely different than her normal driving. Let's get going. We still have to work on the cars. We have to be there in 1 hour," I commanded. "Whom will we be racing against?" Jasper asked. I knew that we could walk away unharmed. "Humans can't though. Other vampires in the area," answered Reese. We got at the hotel soon. The cars were a black Volvo and a silver Volvo. Reese and I got to work on the cars. By the time we were done the cars would go really fast. "Come on people, we got to be there in 15 minutes, I was excited. It had been months since my last street race. Reese got in the black Volvo and what a coincidence that we got in the silver Volvo. I got in the passenger seat. Edward got in the front seat and the rest piled in the back. Since there wasn't enough room, Alice sat on Jasper's lap. "Rules for being in the car when I am racing. Don't distract me. If you do distract me and cause me to mess up, you will regret it." Nobody spoke. "I don't care if you laugh, scream, or talk to me. Just don't touch me." They all let out a laugh when I said this. I smiled. I was going to go back to business after. No more Miss Nice Assassin. When we reached the race we parked in place. The race didn't start for 5 more minutes. Well, look who it is. If it isn't my friend Bella, I turned to see. The one guy who I never wanted to see again. Laurent. After I became a vampire he wanted me to be his mate. I refused. He has been stalking me ever since. He is so annoying. "Yay, it's my stalker," I whispered to Reese. She started to laugh. "Hello Laurent. I would say it's nice to see you, but we both know that's a big fib," I said with a strained smile. "You remember my ex-boyfriend's family?" I looked over at the Cullens. Edward winced at the word ex-boyfriend. "Yeah, I remember them. That's the guy who left you. You know you could come to me for comfort." He said this with a gleam in eye. Quote, "I think you have a little more than comforting on your mind, Laurent," I replied. I was getting bored with this game. He walked over to me and grabbed my ass. "You know it," he said seductively. "You have 5 seconds to take your hand off my ass or you will regret it," I told him. He just laughed and squeezed my ass again. I moved out of his grip and kicked him hard in a very sensitive area. He howled in pain and fell to the ground clutching his crotch. I walked over to where Reese and the Cullens were. All but Reese were looking at me in awe. Remind me never to grab your ass, Bella, Emmett joked. Rosalie smacked him. That was nothing. You should have seen what she did to the guy who tried to put his hand up her shirt, Rhys said laughing. Racers pay up. This was said by the vampire who organized the race. $5,000. I went to pay. We got in the car. There were 4 racers in total. I started the car. Ready, set, go. We took off. I was in second. Rhys in the third. The P in front of me had cut across me and I was pissed. I was on his rear and he moved wherever I did. Move, you son of a bitch, I yelled. I rammed into her or his car. The car wasn't ready for the impact. It spun off to the side. I laughed. All the Cullens were looking at me. What? I was confused at why they were looking at me like that. I sped up. The car was reaching 250. Rhys rammed into me. I jerked forward. Well, if she wants it that way. I took it as a challenge. I stooped all of a sudden. Rhys and the other car rammed into my back. I took off again. That was good thinking, Alice said. I just laughed. A car rammed into me from the side. It was the car I thought I had gotten rid of. I looked over and the vampire smiled evilly. I gave him the middle finger. I rammed into him again. He tried to pass me but I didn't let him. I rammed into him again. He again went off into the sides and hit a wall this time. Damn girl, you know how to drive. This was from Jasper. He was having fun. All of them were. They had big smiles on their faces. So you like? I asked them. I've never had this much fun, yelled Rosalie. I spun around and headed back. Rhys was almost there. I got in her lane. I was headed straight for her. Everyone was looking at me. I knew Rhys wouldn't give in. We were about to hit her when I swerved into my lane just in time. I crossed the finish line. I spun to a stop. Rhys parked beside me. I don't know what happened to the other vamps. We piled out of the car. I can't believe you did that, Edward told me, smiling. I warned you, Rhys said. She was trying to stop giggling. I went over and collected my money. I gave 1% to each of them. The Cullens tried to refuse but I insisted. Next time you should bring Carlisle and Esme, I laughed. At the image of Esme's face if she was in the car when I rammed the car off the road. We have to feed, Rhys told me. I knew my eyes were turning black. Okay, let's go. Maybe we will have human this time. There aren't many woods around here, I replied. That wiped the smile off of the Cullens' faces. You hunt humans? Alice asked, her voice shaking. Well, you kind of had to know considering the fact that my eyes are burgundy. I pointed out the obvious. But they looked more black, Emmett pointed out with a gloomy look on his face. We ask that you don't kill in this area, Edward sighed. His face and eyes were dark. Rhys and I started laughing. They looked at us curiously. We don't kill when we feed, I informed him. You don't? Edward looked confused. We are in complete control of our hunger. We don't kill when we feed. We take what we need and then I wipe their memories afterward. We put them in sort of like a trance. They don't remember anything, I told them. They looked relief. How do you manage that? Jasper asked. Practice, we both said. Would you go hunting with us? We have to go soon anyway. Alice was being her usually cheery self. Rhys and I looked at each other. Okay, I said reluctantly. We followed them to the cars. We split up then. Rhys, Rosalie, and Emmett got in the black Volvo. Edward, Alice, Jasper, and me got in the silver Volvo. Rhys's pav cause you know you want to. We were speeding down the street. Bella was in the lead. So how did Bella become the way she is? The Bella we knew was sweet, kind, and gentle. This new Bella is different to say the least. The one called Emmett asked. She was hurt, so she became what she is. You can understand that, but there is nothing wrong with being tough. In our line of work you have to be tough. She is starting to scare me. She cuts herself off from people. She is turning cold. I'm her best friend and I'm about the only one she actually talks to. Sure, she talks to other vampires, but I'm the only one who knows about Edward. If the other vampires did know, then they would most likely kill Edward. Bella is respected and loved by the vampires. She is a great leader. Any one of the agents would die for her as she would for us. After I had finished that speech, the car was quiet. Also, her power is like nothing I have ever seen. She is the most powerful vampire alive, I'd wager. Even the Volturi are afraid of her. She has many powers and I'm sure that she has more she hasn't discovered. They were in awe of this information. We are sorry for the pain we caused her. It was unintentional. Edward will do anything to win her back, Rosalie said in a sad voice. You're the one who was a bitch to her when she was human, right? Rhys asked. Yes, I was a bitch to her and I'm sorry for that. Would you agree to Edward and Bella together? If she's happy then I'm happy for her. She's been alone for so long that I just want her to be happy. Arrow's been hitting on her. They want her to find a mate. She is stubborn though, I told them. Edward is going to get her back. He is determined. Emmett laughed. Well, she is going to do everything to make sure that doesn't happen. She made him jealous on purpose. By the way, we are very serious about our job. Bella means it when she said that we will decide for you. I knew that Bella was very serious about her job. The car was silent. Bella's pav. The car ride was silent. We stopped in front of the house. Esme and Carlisle were on the front porch. The house was a white 3-story house. It was an elegant 20s-style mansion. We got out of the cars. Reese and I were side by side. We walked up to Carlisle and Esme. "Hi," said Reese. She tried to smile reassuringly, but Carlisle pulled Esme closer. "I'm sorry about the beating you up. I was following orders," she said shyly. I snorted. "We are going hunting. Do you guys want to come?" Edward asked them. "Sure," they both answered. We headed off to the woods. We let our senses take over. We separated. I smelled a bear. I went for it. It never had a chance. I was still a little hungry. I went after a rabbit. After I had drained it, I hid it just like I did with the bear. The others weren't far from here. "How have you been these past years?" a voice asked. I turned around to see Edward leaning against a tree. He looked sexy. "Better," I told him. "I've missed you. I thought about you every day. When we left I thought I was going to die. I didn't eat, talk, or move for a long while. When I found out that you had supposedly died, I tried to end my existence. My family stopped me," he told me. His voice broke. "Am I supposed to care?" I asked in a non-caring voice. "But you do care," a voice told me. "I have no right to want you back, but I do. I want you so bad it hurts." He looked into my eyes. "Too bad. You can't have me." I stared at him cruelly. "Maybe I can change your mind." He grabbed me and kissed me. There was no reason to be cautious because I wasn't human anymore. So I kissed him back fiercely. I was pinned against a tree. I finally pushed him away. "I can't. I don't trust you. You lost me a long time ago. I'm not the same Bella you knew. I don't think you would like new one." I was about to run. He grabbed my arm. "I will win you back. Even if it takes my whole life." I ran then. I ran as if my life depended on. The rest of the Cullens were by the car. "Come on, Reese. You have till tomorrow at midnight. Don't try to hide him. We will find him," I reminded them. We got in the car and took off. In the mirror I saw Edward come from the trees. Edward's POV right after he comes out of the trees when Bella is driving away. "What was that about?" asked Emmett. "I kissed her," I said smiling. "Did she slap you?" "No," I answered. "She pushed me away, but I can tell that she is coming around." "Well, from our talk with Reese we learned a lot," Rosalie told everyone. "What did she say?" Carlisle asked. "They retold everything that was said. I'm going to get her back," I told everyone. I was determined. They all nodded. "We have to do something about the human. They are coming tomorrow." With that said, they started to plan. Bella's pav. "What am I going to do?" He kissed me and I kissed him back. She was so confused. "What will make you happy?" Reese asked me. She was a good friend. Part of me says that I should be with him and forgive him. The off. Our part is just telling me that he is an asshole who hurt me and will hurt me again, I told her. "Well, just breathe and think about it," Reese told me. "Well, we have a job to do. I will put it to the test. Tomorrow if they don't have the human changed, then I will change him. It will test how much he really wants to be with me." Reese smiled at the plan. We would see how much he wanted me back. WOULD he loved the new Bella just as much as the old Bella? Bella's pav. Midnight approached. It was almost time to go. I put on steel-toed boots, fingerless gloves with rings. I wore a silver tank top with hip-hugging black jeans. I put my hair up with chopsticks. I put more tattoos on my face. Again, the tattoos do wash off. Reese wore a black crop top with blue jeans. She also wore steel-toed boots. She put her hair up in a bun with loose hair coming down. I put tattoos on her. I sharpened my nails. We were ready. We headed toward the coven house. The coven was lined up. There were 30 members in total. "This should be fun. Have you decided?" I asked, my voice full of authority. "You will have to go through us." This was Tanya who spoke. I look over to Reese and we both smile. It made the coven members nervous. "If you insist. But know this. If we perish, then there will be another and another coming after you. They will not stop till the deed is done. This could kill your whole coven," I told them. They looked a little more nervous. "We'll take that chance," Tanya replied. "You can't say we didn't warn you." I flashed them a smile that sent shivers down their spines. If you want to get to the human, then you'll have to go through us too, Edward sighed as the Cullens appeared at the front of the line. If you insist. I looked them straight in the eye when I said this. My face showed no emotion. He looked back with no emotion. Then it began. They came at us with full force. I grabbed one and threw him into another vamp. One came behind me. I kicked him in the chin. He fell backward. The vamps that were unconscious piled up. We didn't kill any of them. We never killed other vamps. Only when ordered to, or we had no choice. I had knocked 10 vamps unconscious. Reese had knocked out 9. The vamps were starting to panic. I smelled the human. He was in the basement. I ran. Reese could handle them on her own. I saw the man when I reached the basement. He was blonde with blue eyes. He had medium build. He would make a good-looking vampire. I grabbed him. He tried to fight me off. He kicked and punched, but it was no use. I knocked him unconscious with a small punch. I dragged him outside. I was about to bite him when someone yelled at me, "Bite him and she dies." I looked up to find a lot of vampires restraining Reese. Damn it. Well, I guess it's time to use my telekinesis power. I looked at her and nodded my head. I moved her with my mind. She was beside me before the vampires knew what happened. I grabbed the man's neck and bit down. The venom was transferred to him. In a few minutes it would be too late. They were all looking at us in shock. "David," Tanya screamed. So that was his name. Nobody moved. I knew it was safe to let him go. He started thrashing in pain. I lowered him to the ground gently. I put my coat under his head. "It's going to be okay," I told him. My voice seemed to soothe him. I stood up. "We won't punish you this time. The deed is done. We are sorry for what had to happen for this mission to be complete." I really was sorry, but it had to be done. Tanya was leaning over David. I looked down at her. It reminded me of Edward and me. She looked at him with eyes full of love. "Bella, come on. You know that when we get back we will probably have another mission. The girls in the Vampirus have been calling. They want to see you," Reese told me. I looked up at her. I turned around and looked at Edward and his family. They were looking at me with what ranged from disgust to hurt. "Goodbye, Edward. Goodbye, everyone." I turned around and we walked away. It had to end this way. It was for the sake of the vampire race. No one could know that vampires exist. This was the way it had to be. I am alone in this world. They need to understand that I have to give up everything to keep the vampire world safe. This was a test to see if Edward would accept me. But in the end no one would accept me. I was alone. Edward's paw. I watched her walk away. How could the person I loved become that person? I watched David withering on the ground in pain. She was different now. "Let's take him inside." Tanya picked David up and carried him inside. The rest of the coven followed. "Are you coming?" asked Emmett. "In a minute." They followed the other inside. I picked up her jacket. I smelled it. It smelled like her. It smelled wonderful. It reminded me how much I missed her. I walked inside with the jacket. My family was sitting down in the living room. David was on the couch. Tanya was sitting by him. Their faces were looking grave. "What are we going to do?" This came from Tanya. "What else is there for us to do? We have to wait till he's changed. We will have to teach him how to control his hunger," Alice said. "How could Bella do this?" Jasper asked. "It's who she is now. It may hurt to admit this, but we hurt her and she had to learn to cope with it." "Just as we have to cope with who she is now," Alice replied. "Your bitch of a girlfriend bit my lover. You are just going to forgive her for that," Tanya screeched. "Don't you dare say that. You are going to be with the one you love forever. I know that being a vampire isn't a fairy tale, but at least you have someone to be with. She is trying to keep the vampires safe," Alice yelled at her. Jasper used his power to calm everyone down. I got up and ran to my room. Could I accept Bella for what she was now? I had to think about. I thought about it most of the night. I thought about it till I saw the sun come up. There was a knock on the door downstairs. I walked downstairs just as Reese walked in. "What the hell do you want?" Tanya snarled. "I want to explain about why we do what we do. Why Bella is the way she is." "Fine. Explain," Emmett said. "Bella is a leader. You don't care. Now what she has to give up to become the way she is. She loves being a vampire. But it's kind of hard when you realize you're going to spend it alone. She has accepted the fact that she is destined to be alone. But she doesn't deserve to be alone. She thinks she does. We are all worried about her. She has given up almost everything she has to become the leader of the Vampirus. She helps this world by making sure no humans know about us," Riley told us. After this speech everyone was silent. Her cell phone rang. She listened for a while. That was Bella. I have to go. Our plane leaves in a while. It was nice to see you. With that she left. We all sat and contemplated what she said. She was right. Bella had a lonely look. Bella's pav. The plane was going to take off. Reese and I waited. Now boarding from Alaska, said that annoying voice. We boarded the plane silently. I sat and watched as we rose higher and higher. Again I remembered memories of Edward and me. This time it hurt and I just let it happen. I felt so weak. I felt like the human girl that died all those years ago. We landed just as the sun set. A car picked us up. When we got there we were taken to Arrow. His fellow Volume 2 leaders were out in another part of the mansion. Girls, good to see you. I assume your mission is finished. We nodded. Good, I want to talk to you, Bella. He was looking at me. I looked up. He was looking at me longingly. Uh-oh, here comes the, I want you to be my mate, speech. I shudder just thinking about it. Bella, you know that I have liked you for a long time and you have always refused to become my mate. I was wondering if you would reconsider, he asked me. No, sorry Arrow, but no, I told him in a final voice. I was hoping I wouldn't have to resort to this. But I will have you no matter what. Girls, come in. The vampiress came in looking confused. Then Jane and Alec came in. If you don't agree to be my mate, then I will have to resort to hurting the people you love most. Arrow was still smiling. He snapped his fingers. All of the girls in the vampiress, including Reese, fell to the ground in pain. I glared at Jane. I started toward her when Reese was consumed by blue fire. I looked at Alec. That was his power. The fire could kill a vampire or human easily. I made up Alec's power. It's your choice. You can either watch your fellow assassins burn or you can become my mate. You know that once the fire has started that only Alec can remove it, said Arrow. I looked at the other vampires consumed in the fire. This was what I have to do. Fine, I will just let them go, I told him evenly. Arrow looked at Alec. The fire disappeared. Good, we will be married on the full moon at midnight. I just nodded. I followed Alec to the room I would stay in till the wedding. I glanced back at the vampires. They were looking at me with fear and grief. I turned and walked away. Edward's pav. I was thinking of a way to get Bella back. Edward, Alice yelled. I ran downstairs. Alice was holding the phone. She put it on speaker. What is going on? I asked. It's Bella. She is in trouble. Reese was dry sobbing. What happened? Carlyle's voice was filled with concern. Arrow wanted Bella as a mate, so he threatened to kill the rest of the vampires in the vampiress. So she agreed. She sobbed again. I thought vampires are not killed easily, Rosalie asked. We were threatened with Alex's gift. He can burn people from the inside out. Bella is the only one immune to it. Reese was trying to calm down. We are coming, I told her. Hurry, they get married at the full moon at midnight. That is only 3 days away. She wailed. The phone disconnected as Reese hung up. What are we going to do? Esme asked. If she could cry, I think she would have been. We are going to find her and rescue her with the vampiress's help, I told them. Good, let's get to work, Rosalie told us. Bella's pav. There was a knock on the door. I opened it. The whole clan of the vampiress was here. Hey, I greeted him. They walked into the bedroom. All 7 of the vampires sat on the bed. They looked like they were about to cry if they could. We can't say how sorry we are that we got you into this mess, Alicia said. Her black were filled with sorrow. She was a great vampire. Listen to me, all of you. You can't do anything about what has happened. You are my family and I would do anything for any one of you. But all of you must promise me one thing. Find someone that you love more than anything and stay with them. I don't want you to be lonely. I don't want anyone to. I mean, I'm still your leader and I always will be. Even when I am married. They all winced at this. Now go, I told them. They left after that. It was going to be okay. I hope it would at least. Edward's pav. We were outside of the Volturi headquarters. All of us were scared but we didn't admit it. It was the full moon and it was nearing midnight. The guard was at the wedding. We walked in and stayed in the shadows. We saw that Bella was in a white wedding dress. She looked breathtaking. Her face was expressionless. She walked up to the altar. We walked in, not interrupting anything I spoke up. All heads snapped up to look at me. Edward, Bella's voice was filled with disbelief. This is a private ceremony. So leave, Alec told us. There was a disturbance outside. That would be Alice. I smiled. Alec went to see about it. He was an idiot. That's when the vampires attacked. They were trained. They fended off the vampires that were there. Bella took this as her cue to move. The vampiresses moved toward the door. We met up with the rest of my family. We ran all the way to the car. There were 3 cars so that all the vampires could fit. We took off. Bella was in the seat beside me. How could you guys be such idiots? They will come after you. Why didn't you just leave me? Bella yelled. We were trying to protect you. I told her with disbelief that she was acting this way. I would be okay. You've put yourselves in danger. She told me. There was a jerk. It felt like something was on the roof. The Volturi, she whispered. I looked in the back seat. Everyone looked scared. Bella's pav. Someone of the Volturi was on the roof. It was time for assassin mode. Just drive. I'll take care of these guys, I told Edward. I grabbed the front of my dress. It was puffy and had a small train. I ripped my dress so that I would be free to fight. I was in my slip. I rolled down the window. I hurried and put myself onto the roof. It was Felix. I was going to have fun with this. He had hit on me so many times. He was so annoying. Hello Bella, are you trying to protect those filthy vampires? They aren't worth you. You are a powerful being that deserves more than them, he said to me. I sneered. You are so arrogant. I would rather be with them than you, I snarled. He looked at me. Then it began. He attacked me with force. I dodged. It was harder on a moving car. But I wouldn't give up. I grabbed him and scratched a painful scratch on his back. He howled in pain. He managed to hit me in the stomach. I didn't wince or show any sign of pain. It was endurance. It was something Felix didn't have. I grabbed him and twisted his arm around his back. I twisted it and he screamed in pain. I'm sorry that it had to end this way, I whispered in his ear. I then kicked him as hard as I could. He flew off the car and landed. I didn't know if he was dead or not. I looked back and saw vampires on the other cars. I jumped from the other cars. I took out the other vampires on the car Reese was driving. I kicked him off the car. I felt a bump. I think that we run over him. I stumbled, but quickly regained my balance. The last car had 2 vampires on it. I jumped again. The car swerved a little. The vampires were about to pry back the top of the car to kill all the vampires in the car. I knew these vamps. They were Arrow's personal bodyguards. Oh great, now I have to face 2 vamps on a moving car. This should be a challenge. I licked my lips. The car turned. I carefully kept my balance. They looked at me with evil looks with a little bit of lust. I sighed. They got on both sides of me. One grabbed my arm. The other vamp grabbed the other. I smiled on the inside. I kicked one of the vamps in the shin. He yelped and let go. I lashed out at the other vamp. I grabbed by the neck and lifted him into the air. If he was human, his neck would either have snapped or he would have suffocated. I looked him in the eye. You are on the wrong side, he whispered in a strangled voice. I don't think so, I whispered back. I threw him. The other vampire got up. He came toward me. I ducked under his arm. I kicked his back. He stumbled and fell off the car. These vampires never learn. The car turned a sharp turn. I got down and held onto the car. I knew I could catch up with them if I fell, but I didn't want my smell to be any stronger than it already was. I covered my smell. The car swerved again. I think they were trying to confuse the scent and make sure no one was following. My slip was ripped. There was a small scratch on my stomach where he hit me. We pulled onto a dirt road. The road had a lot of twists and turns in it. We finally stopped. Everyone filed out of the cars. I jumped and landed on my feet. You guys shouldn't have come for me. It was stupid of you, I yelled at them. A thank you would be nice, Edward snapped. I didn't need your help. I had it all planned out. Do you realize that all of you could have died? You are playing in some serious shit. If you get yourself involved, you're going to die. Do you understand that? I replied. My voice was slightly raised again. The vampiress and I know the score. We're careful. You don't know what you are even doing. You think you suddenly know how to fight like we do. It takes practice and hard work and pain. You have to be determined, and most of all you have to be willing to give up everything you have to. I looked at them. The vampiress were behind me. They knew everything I said was true. You weren't even able to change a human because you thought it would be damnation. It's not like that for everyone. It's not like that for me, and it's not like that for most of the vampires. You and your family aren't ready to become what I have become. You aren't ready to do what is necessary to protect our species. The vampirist group was nodding their heads. They agreed with me. What is happening? You know something that we don't. Alice looked pointedly at me as she said this. And what if I am? What are you going to do about it? The vampirist looked nervous as I said this. They knew that I never backed down from a challenge. What if we were determined enough to be trained like you are? Carlyle asked. Who trained you? Jasper asked. Don't you know? Alicia asked them. I shot her a warning glance. Know what? Rosalie had a curious look in her eye. Bella trained us all. She is He reasoned the vampiress is practically undefeatable, Rhys told them. She came along and decided we needed more training. We were just vampires in the Volturi when Bella came along and she trained us. That's how we became the vampiress. It was some of the toughest training I have ever had. But she gets the job done, Rhys continued. Could you train us? Edward asked. The rest of the Cullens nodded in agreement. We need all the people we can get, Kira told them. Kira was blonde and short. She was very beautiful. She was loyal, as were the rest of the vampiress. Please, Esme pleaded. Esme, I don't think you are willing to become like me. I don't think you're ready to have to do all the things that you have to. I looked her in the eye. I am. I want to help. Esme looked me back in the eye. If you want me to do this, you have to realize that this is not going to be easy. If one of you gets hurt, you cannot hold me accountable, I told them. They nodded. It begins tonight. Rhys will give you something to train in. I walked inside. Everyone else followed. The Cullens walked down in sweats. This was going to be a long night. Right now we are going to work on your endurance. Rhys is going to hit me very hard. Watch and learn, I told them. Rhys punched me in the chest. It hurt, but I didn't wince or blink. I didn't budge. I just stood there. The Cullens watched in amazement. Who is first? Rosalie volunteered. I'm going to hit you. If you wince or yelp, I'll hit you harder. She looked scared. I hit her. It was not a full hit. It was soft, well soft for me. She winced. I hit her in the chest a little harder this time. She winced again. I hit her harder. She yelped. Emmett looked worried. We'll stop for now. Clear your mind. Don't think about the pain. Think about the attack. Who is next? I asked. I am. Emmett stepped up. I'm going to try something new with you. I'm going to use my power of telekinesis, I told him. He nodded. I used my power to push his body together. It made him feel like his body was caving in. He was having trouble not giving in. Stop, he yelled. I only forced my power on him harder. He yelped. I used more power. Stop, he yelled. I stopped using my power. Next, I said without emotion. Jasper stepped up. We are going to go outside for your training, I told him. I walked out and he followed me. The rest of the Cullens and the vampiress followed me outside too. Stand still. I looked up at the sky. The lightning cracked. I forced it to strike Jasper. It was enough to hurt him. He yelped, as did Alice and the rest of the Cullens. I did it again, only I made it hurt more. He yelped again. Next, I said again. It was Alice's turn. I decided to use telekinesis again. I used my power to pick up a huge tree from the ground. I moved it so that it was crushing her to the ground. She started to gasp for breath. Then she started to whimper. I pushed the tree down harder. She started to panic. Please stop. I can't take it, she whimpered. You are a big bad vampire. You can handle a little more. I let the tree up. She walked over to Jasper. Edward walked up. It was his turn. I decided to use my shapeshift on him. I looked at him. I changed into a white tigress. It was my favorite form. I had the strength of a vampire and a tigress. I attacked him. He was pinned to the ground before he knew what happened. I clawed and bit him. He was trying his best not to show that he was hurt, but I knew that he was in pain. I shifted to my human form. I got off of him. He was looking all scratched up and bruised. I nodded at him. This is only 1/100th of what you will have to endure. Tomorrow we will begin on self-control, I told them. I will work with Carlisle and Esme tomorrow. I looked at them both. I walked up to my room. Rosalie's paw when she is going through training. I was scared. I didn't know what she was going to do to me. She is very unpredictable. I knew that whatever it was going to be painful. She punched me in the chest. I whimpered. It hurt so badly. She punched me again, but harder this time. It hurt. I winced louder. She punched me so hard. I had never been hit that hard. I yelped. We'll stop for now. Clear your mind. Don't think about the pain. Think about the attack. Who's next? She told me. How was I going to do that? Emmett walked up. She told him that she was going to use her power of telekinesis on him. I was worried. Emmett's paw. I stood there. I was pretty confident that I would be okay. I had never expected this type of thing. I felt like my lungs were caving in. My bones felt like they were being squeezed together. I was never one to ask for mercy. But this was too much. I had never felt something this painful. I was once attacked by Jane's power. This felt like my body was being crushed. Stop, I ordered. She only made it hurt worse. I yelped. This made her force her power to make it worse. Stop. She released me and I walked over to Rose. She looked scared and worried about me. Next, her voice was unfeeling. I don't think any of us really realize what she is going through. Jasper was next. Jasper's Pav. She led us outside. I was worried. I didn't show it, but I was. After seeing what she did to the other two, I was nervous to find out what I would be enduring. She looked to the sky. Lightning cracked. Before I knew it, lightning struck me. I felt heat and pain. It was horrible. I felt like my body was burning. I yelped in pain. She made the lightning struck me again. It felt worse. I can't explain it, but it was painful. I coughed. She let up. She didn't strike me again. I walked over to a concerned-looking family. It was Alice's turn. I was nervous. I didn't know if I could stand by and watch her get hurt. Alice's Pav. If his was the kind of training that the vampires had to go through, then it was no wonder they were so tough. She looked at me. A tree lifted up and hovered over to me. Oh, the tree pressed me into the ground. Is this what Emmett felt? Maybe his training was worse. I felt as if the ground was going to swallow me up. I felt myself panic. I couldn't breathe. I don't have to breath, but I didn't think about that. I gasped for air. She pressed the tree down harder. I knew I would leave an imprint of me in the ground. Please stop. I can't take it, I gasped. You're a big bad vampire. You can take a little more. She briefly pressed the tree down harder with her powers before getting the tree off of me. I walked over to Jasper. It was Edward's turn. Edward's Pav. As I walked up to face her, I found myself memorizing her face. I realized how much I missed her. Then she was before me as a white tigress. She roared. She tackled me before I even knew what happened. She was scratching me and biting me. She scratched my throat and it burned. She bit my hand and I thought she had put a hole in it. I tried not to whimper or yelp in pain. She was strong. Her claws were sharp. This was supposed to be on endurance. She transformed back into a human. She got off of me. I have to say that I was aroused. This is 1/100th of the things you will have to endure in training. Tomorrow we will work on self-control, she told my family. I will work with Carlisle and Esme tomorrow. With that she walked to her room. I missed her. I wondered how much she had to give up for our species. Tomorrow we would test our self-endurance. Bella's Pav. The fact was that a war was coming, and not everyone was going to survive. I had yet to tell the others about what I found out. The Volturi were going to make slaves of all the vampires in the world, as if they didn't have enough power. It would be scary to know that the Volturi would be in charge of the world, so to speak. I would have to tell them soon. It was 2 a.m. I walked downstairs. Everyone was in the living room. The Cullens were talking about the training session. The vampires were talking about their old training sessions and the missions they had been on. I need to speak to the girls and the vampiress alone. I looked at the girls pointedly. It was a look that told them it was important. The girls got up to follow me upstairs. Whatever you have to say to them, you can say to us, Edward told me. I glared at them. It was a glare that could melt steel. It's not your business, not yet at least, I replied. It is our business, he shot back. What are you going to make me? You think you can take me? You can't, but you could try. Come on, kick my ass, I told him while looking him in the eye. He looked away. I turned to walk upstairs. Reese walked up to me. Look, I know it's not like us to be nice to other vampires, especially when they hurt our leader, but they will be working with us against the Volturi, Reese said. I knew she was right. Fine, you're lucky that I listened to you, I said. I turned back to them. I'll tell you what I know, and that is a lot. The Volturi plan to make all the vampires slaves, and they are willing to go to war to do that. That's why I agreed to train you. You can choose to fight or you can give up and go with the Volturi. I gave them the choice. I knew what they would choose. They were silent. Everyone was staring at me in shock. If you are going to fight, then I will continue to train you. If not, then we will leave. I knew that we needed all that we could get. I'm in, Edward spoke up. Us too, said Alice. Same here, said both Emmett and Rosalie. You can count us in too, Carlisle aid last. Good, let's get to work on training. This sounded like one of those cheesy action movies. This next training session is about self-control. You have to learn to control your blood urges and it will make you stronger. This was going to be a long day. I looked at Reese and the other vampires. They nodded. They knew what to do. They were gone for about 15 minutes. They came back with the packets. Come on, I said as I walked outside. This is going to get ugly, I whispered to Reese. She giggled. They lined up side by side. Carlisle, since this won't work on you, so go over with the others, I told him. He walked over to the others. 4 others of the vampires lined in front of the Cullens. They all had a red packet in their hands. I was in front of Edward. This, I pointed to the packets, is cloned blood. It smells the same as blood and tastes the same. This is a clone of my blood to be exact. Don't ask how I got it. But since all of you thought I smelt good, I thought it would be good to train with, I informed them. Edward looked anxious. I smiled. We ripped the packets open. We did something they never expected. We splashed the blood in their faces. Their mouths dropped. I smirked. The blood dripped into their mouths. I motioned to the girls. They backed away. As I said this was going to get ugly. I could see that they were struggling. 3, 2, 1 I counted down. Then it happened. They attacked each other. The blood on each of their faces was too much. Jasper tackled Edward. I giggled. They fought over my blood. It was so sweet. Did I just think that was sweet? I needed to stop hanging around the goody-goody Cullens. I shivered. Me, a goody-goody. I shudder to think. I have not been that way since I was human, a weak, pathetic human. Emmett tackled Jasper. This was Edward's chance to strike back. He hit them both from the side. This sent them flying. If I could eat, I would be eating popcorn. This is better than the movies. This is why people who can't control their bloodlust aren't assassins, I said, and Kira giggled next to me. Meanwhile, Rosalie tackled Alice. Jasper, who saw this, roared. Emmett got all protective of Rosalie. I nodded to the girls. I grabbed Edward by the shirt collar and hoisted him up into the air. I let him hang there while the girls secured the others. This is the reason we practice self-control. Bloodlust can turn you against your friends and family. I dropped Edward carelessly and he fell on his butt. I giggled. Have a nice fall, I asked him. Yeah, he replied gruffly. Just concentrate on what has to be done. Don't concentrate on the blood, I told them. If it were possible to get a headache, I would have gotten one. Carlisle, Esme, since I didn't get to teach you some endurance yesterday, we still have a long way to go with the kids. I did quotation marks in the air, but we need to get started on your endurance. I'm actually going to let you pick what kind of test you get. You saw what I did yesterday, I said. I was being too nice. I'll go first, Carlisle stated, and I picked the lightning. He gulped. Okay, I replied. Jasper looked stricken. I conjured the lightning. I hit him with a low-energy bolt for starters. His teeth were clenched, but I heard him whimper. Esme looked like she was about to cry. This is why motherly people like Esme aren't in the assassin business. I sent another bolt, but it had higher energy than the last bolt. He whimpered more noticeably this time. I hit him one more time. He yelped. The sky cleared. He walked, or rather limped, to Esme's side. I gestured to Esme. I picked the punches, she said. Rosalie winced and rubbed her chance. Don't be such a wuss, Rosalie. I told you that is not even half of what is to come, I told her. She glared at me. It didn't scare me. Esme walked up to me. She braced herself. I punched her in the chest. She gasped and yelped. She tried to cover it with a cough. I punched her again. She yelped again. I backed up. I walked past everyone. I needed to be alone. I needed space. I walked up to my room and sat down on the floor. I was in full meditation mode. I breathed big breaths and cleared my mind. Edward's paw. She had become an intense person. I couldn't believe that there was a war coming. I'm going to feel that for a week. Carlisle said, did she train you like this? Worse. She is going easy on you for now. She did that for us. But don't worry, it gets harder, Reese replied. My family winced. She can't go easy on you. There is a war coming, and if you don't train, then you will not survive. The Volturi are ruthless. They won't show you mercy, she said when everyone winced. I'm going to check on her, I told everyone. I would not do that. She is probably meditating. You don't want to interrupt her when she is meditating. It could get ugly, Alicia warned. I'll take my chances, I replied. You really do love her, don't you? Reese asked. With all my heart, I replied. No one deserves to be happy more than her. If you hurt her like you did last time, we will kill you, she said. The rest of the vampires nodded. I then realized how much they cared about her. I walked upstairs to her room. I opened the door. She was on the floor with her legs crossed. Her eyes were closed. She was deep in concentration. What are you doing here? She asked in an aggravated voice. I came to see if you were all right, I replied. When did you start caring? Her eyes were still closed. I've always cared, I replied in an angry voice. Could have fooled me, she snapped back. I do care. You care too. That's why you kissed me back in the woods, I shot back. Let's not go there. It was a mistake. Now you are cutting into my meditation time, she replied calmly. It wasn't a mistake. You need to realize that I will not give you up. I will not leave you again. I will wait on you for eternity. I will prove that to you. I hoped In was getting through to her. And you need to realize that I won't take you back. Plus you wouldn't change me when I was human. And now that I am a vampire you want to be with me. You had to let someone else do all the dirty work while you enjoy the prize. Well, excuse me if I don't want to be with someone too cowardly to change the girl he supposedly loved. Someone who left me after he promised he wouldn't. You wanted me to have a normal life, but I didn't want to. I didn't want a normal life anyway. I bet that if you could go back you would opt the change and make sure I didn't turn into a vampire. I love being a vampire. Unlike you I wouldn't change the past. Also unlike you I accept and embrace what I am. I'm not a killer. I enjoy life. She finished her speech. She looked up at me. But unlike you I don't give up on love, I snarled. I left with that. I wouldn't give up on her. But as I walked away I knew that everything she said was true. Bella's Pav. He left me sitting there. I don't have the luxury of being soft. There is a war coming. I might not even survive it. Reese walked in. With the fact that Edward stormed out, I would say that you told him off, she said. He wants me back. I told him no. He left me. He might just have to live with the consequences, I told her while looking at her with no emotion. Hasn't he suffered enough? She asked. When I was with him, my life was about him. I was a weak human who fell in love with a vampire. The day he left I had never felt so vulnerable than I had right then. No one likes feeling that vulnerable. When Victoria came, I thought that she would kill me, and I didn't care. Back then I was so dependent on him that I didn't want to live if he wasn't there. I'm not going to give him another chance to make me feel that vulnerable again. I had never told her any of that. No one could ever make you vulnerable. You are the most powerful being in the world, physically as well as emotionally. But you can't be alone for the rest of your life, Reese said sympathetically. I don't want your pity. I'm going to be okay. I snapped. Fine. She walked out of the room. I had to be strong. They wouldn't survive without a leader. They needed strength. They needed to understand that life doesn't always have a happy ending. They might have to learn it the hard way like I did. Reese's Pav. I walked downstairs. I went and gave Ben a hug. How was I going to tell her about Ben and me? It kind of creeped me out that he flirted with Bella. But then again every man does flirt with Bella. I was starting to fall for Ben. I knew that he felt the same. I just wanted her to be happy. How did it go? Alice asked. Edward was pacing. Not good. She is a born leader. She puts the happiness of others above her own. We just want her to be happy. No one deserves it more than her, I said. Did she say anything about me? Edward asked. Well, all I can say is that you don't deserve her, I replied with venom. I know I don't, he replied. As long as you know. There was a knock at the door. I stalked over to answer it. I opened the door. It was Parker. He was a guard for the Volturi. Bella, I yelled. She was by my side in a second. She saw who was there. What the hell are you doing here? She snarled. The Cullens flinched. Bella's Pav. It was Parker. I could kill where he stood. I got ready to pounce on him. Wait, he yelled. I'm not with the Volturi. I don't agree with what they are doing, he quickly explained. I sifted through his memories. He was telling the truth. I still didn't trust him. He's good, I told them. I turned back to him. But double-cross us and I will make sure you wish for death, I said menacing. Everyone shivered. Fine, he was visibly shaken. Well, don't stand outside like an idiot. Come in and tell us something useful, I said in a bored voice. Still the same old Bella, he whispered. Well, you know me, I said. I could know you a lot better. He tried to sound seductively. He sounded more like an annoying child that wanted candy. In your dreams, shithead, I replied. Reese elbowed me in the ribs. What? He has hit on me a lot and he is never going to get anywhere. I have enough to deal with and I don't want to deal with some vampire who is trying to hit on me while there is a war going on. Hey, any man and some FEMA. Less within a 10-mile radius would hit on you. You can't blame a guy for trying, he replied. I rolled my eyes. Anyway, I want to tell you that I brought you this. He presented a book, the prophecy book. No one reads that anymore. But it will probably be good in this case. Did you read it? I asked him. It's in ancient Egyptian. I can't read it, he replied with a snort. I'm going up to my room to read it. I want you all to practice endurance and self-control. With that I walked upstairs. Bella's Pav. The prophecy book was one of the most accurate book of prophecies. Everything in it has happened to the exact detail. It is kind of creepy that I was going to see what is going to happen in the war. Maybe it would tell us who lives and who dies. I knew that someone would die. I knew because life is full of tragedy and we don't always have a happy ending. I opened the book and began to read. Some of it was reference to the past. A vampire shall bury a potato and shall be cursed to speak only in riddles. 1920, I read. Who the hell writes this stuff? Remind me never to bury a potato, I told myself. I skimmed through it. I got to my time period and that's when I got to reading. It mentioned a war with the Volturi. A time will come when we face vampire against vampire. In the darkened sky the flame will fall. When day becomes night, upon the unwilling victim, the chosen leader, the vampiress Isabella, the one to lead the victory. Under the blue flame she will die. To save those dear to her she will perish under the flame. Those who oppose her will also perish in the fire. The vampire race will be safe. I closed the book. So that was my fate. I was to die. It hurt to know this, but I knew that it would save the vampire race. It was my duty. I could not think about myself. Everyone depended on me. With that I began to write. I began to write the letters to all those I cared about. I sealed them and placed them on my desk. They would find them. After I was done, I walked downstairs. Everyone was there. Reese noticed me first. Well, what did it say? Did you find out who wins? She asked. The battle will be on the next eclipse. I told her. That's not far. It's only a week away. We don't have time. We have to prepare and train the other idiots, Reese said slightly hysterically. The Cullens raised protest when they were called idiots. I laughed. Well, we have to get some weapons. They have all the weapons and we are going to have to steal them, I told her. The Cullens looked confused. You need to talk to someone about the fact that you're a kleptomaniac, she said, chuckling. What do you mean weapons? Vampires aren't affected by weapons that humans invented, Edward asked with a confused look. Well, that would be a problem if humans invented them. Vampires in the Volturi invented weapons that can pierce vampire skin, I replied lazily. Who were the vampires? He kept on questioning. I smiled. The vampiress. They all looked at us in shock. Why was everyone doing that? Were they questioning my cleverness? Why would you invent weapons against vampires? Alice asked. I sighed. Alice, I said in a testy voice. I am an assassin. Don't you think that stuff would come in handy? Realization hit her face. Well, Reese and everyone in the vampiress, we are going to go steal stuff. I want Reese, Kira, and Alicia will come with me. The rest of you will stay here and make sure nothing happens. I order. The Cullens roared in protest. I sighed. I didn't have time to bother with that whining bunch. We want to fight. We want to help, Alice yelled. You could get hurt, Edward yelled. Silence, I said in a deadly calm voice. You are not trained enough yet to go on a mission like this. You will stay here like the good vampires you are and leave the hard stuff to me. You will not leave this house. Do you hear me? I said menacingly. No one answered. I said, do you hear me? There were replies of yes. I walked out and Reese, Kira, and Alicia followed. Iston, when we get there we need to make sure that no guards spot us and we need to get all of the weapons. Leave none of them behind. We don't want them to have any weapons. Okay ladies, let's go. My voice rang with authority. We ran instead of driving. We didn't want them to hear us. We approached slowly. There was a guard. One guard in the armory. They never learn. I motioned for them to knock him unconscious. I didn't want any deaths. They quickly knocked him unconscious. We snuck in with stealth. There were weapons on the west wall. We quickly collected all the weapons. I knew this wasn't all of them. Search. This isn't all of them. I hissed. I found them, Reese Stage whispered. She went to pick up the sword. I pushed her out of the way and grabbed the sword. Pain shot through me. I was paralyzed. The sword had some sort of magic put on it. Damn it, what happening? Reese was frightened. They all tried to help me escape the prison of the sword. I forced all my magic forward. I let energy flow through me. Soon the magic let go of its hold. What have I taught you? Never pick up pointy foreign objects. Also there is the fact that it was hidden. That was a big no-no. I scolded like she was a child. Sorry. Fine, let's get out of here. I don't want to get caught. I mean seriously, we are stealing the weapons. Do you think they are just going to happy about that? I feel like I am talking to second graders. No offense to second graders. They quickly snuck out of the armory. I heard footsteps. I motioned for them to stop. I found him here. He was unconscious. Only certain people could have done that. It was Felix. Shit, he lived. Shit, he knows that we are here. Shit, we have to get out of here. I mouthed. I knew that we all wouldn't escape. They looked at me. They knew what I was planning to do. No, they all mouthed. Go, I mouthed back. They wouldn't refuse because I ordered it. I walked out into the light. Hello boys. The other guy with him was Alec. Did I miss the party? I mocked. They grabbed from behind. Are we going for a walk? I asked. I was brought into the training room. Arrow, Marcus, and Keys were waiting for us. Bella dear, you have returned, Arrow said happily. Please, they are bringing me against my will. Do you think I would be here otherwise? I snarled. Well, you have been stealing from the armory. You have to be punished, traitor, Marcus snarled back. He grabbed the sword. I was turned around. My back was facing Marcus and his brothers. Marcus started to carve into my back. It felt like he was carving words. I would not show any sign of pain. I kept my mouth shut. I knew that if I escaped too soon, then the girls wouldn't have time to escape. I had to escape and try not to lead them back to the safe house. When Marcus was done, he stepped back to admire his work. I couldn't sense the girls anywhere, so I knew that I could escape now. I kicked Marcus. He let go of the sword. I caught it. I looked at Felix, who still had a hold on my arm. I yanked out of his grasp. I grabbed him and tossed him into the wall. I ran outside. How the hell was I going to get out of here? Someone tackled me from the side. I looked and saw Jane. She was holding onto my ankle. Get off of me, bitch, I yelled at her. I kicked her in the face. I got up. I surrounded by the Volturi guard. Shit, I just wanted to be at the safe house. I suddenly felt like I was spinning. I looked around and saw that I was at the safe house. Looks like I have a new power. Reese's Pav. We walked into the safe house. Everyone was waiting there. All three of us were worried. She was probably being tortured right now. It was all because of my mistake. How could I not have enough common sense to not touch that sword? Where is Bella? Edward asked. She was captured, I replied. What? Everyone roared. Don't worry, she can take care of herself, Kira told them. Why didn't you rescue her? Edward asked, outraged. She ordered us to go. If you knew Bella all you would know that you never disobey a direct order from her, I yelled. We have to go find her, Alice said. Bella's Pav. We have to go find her, I heard Alice say. You mean me, I said as I stepped into the house. Bella, Edward yelled. He ran over and hugged me. I pried him off of me. Cullen, how many times do I have to tell you that I am not the hugging type, I said. He looked hurt. I have a new power. I can teleport to different places when I want, I told them. It will prove to be useful, Reese said. I nodded and walked toward the stairs to change clothes. Bella, what happened to your back? Edward asked. It's none of your concern, I replied. He grabbed my arm. The others had gathered to look at my back. They all looked murderous. I sighed. What does it say, Reese? I asked her. Traitor, she replied. Well, it will heal eventually, I said. I was about to head upstairs when Edward grabbed my arm again. Can I help you? I asked in a cold voice. He just shook his head and let go. I was just worried about you, Edward sighed. I rolled my eyes. You have no right to care, I replied before I walked upstairs. I changed and started sharpening the weapons. Parker entered the room. What do you want? I asked, going back to my sharpening. I have a proposition for you. You become my mate and I don't tell them about your past. You have a very dark past and I don't think that the Cullens would be so keen to help someone with your past, he said, smirking. You can't threaten me. The vampires know of my past, and if you tell anyone else about that past I will kill you on the spot, I snarled. There was a deadly look in my eye. He looked scared and backed up. I walked past him and walked out the back door. I needed to walk. I needed to ponder my death. I was walking for about 15 minutes when I heard footsteps. I whipped around to see Reese. Hey, I need to talk to you. She sounded serious. Well, I'm in love with Ben from the other coven. I want you to approve, she stuttered. I looked at her. I looked her straight in the eye. I approve. I don't want you to be lonely. I don't want anyone to, I said. I knew that I would never get a chance to be with someone like that. I looked down. She came and hugged me. You don't have to be lonely either. You know that Edward loves you a lot. The vampires wouldn't mind to see their leader happy, she said. Reese, I'm going to be okay. Don't worry about me. I want to say that whatever happens in the war, I want you and the others to be happy, I told her. Do you know something I don't? Reese asked. You'll know soon, that was all I said. I walked into the house where everyone was. Now that we have weapons and we have to get to training, I told them and they nodded. Well, let's get to work. Bella's Pav. There are things in life that we just have to accept that you really don't want to accept. The fact that I was to die was one of them. Another one was training Edward and his family. I was only doing this because of the war. A true leader sets aside her problems for the good of the coven, or in this case the vampire race. But nothing aggravated her more than a lovesick vampire after forgiveness. When Reese and I walked in the house, Edward looked at me with longing. I rolled my eyes. We had to think about the mission. Settle down, I barked. They went quiet immediately. Reese went to sit by Ben. Alright, well, we have to train, but I have just realized that we need more troops. So we are going to go to the coven the Cullens were staying at, I stated. Okay, but I don't think that Hay are going to be too keen on joining because of what you did to David, Alice said. I have my ways of persuasion, I replied with a smile. Reese rolled her eyes. Yeah, when she says persuasion, she means violence and threatening. Reese snorted. What? I mean, we change the humans that know about us and they get all whiny about it. Personally, I don't know what their problem is. Edward and Rosalie looked at me like I was crazy. Oh, I had forgotten that they didn't like being vampires. That also got on my nerves. How could anyone be a vampire and not love it? You actually think that people like being a vampire? Rosalie asked. Not everyone thinks it's a curse, Rosalie, I snarled. The other vampiresses nodded. She took a step back away from me. Now let's go. We have to get to the other coven to start their training. With that I walked out. XXXXXXXXXXXXXXXX. We went back to the coven's house. It looked like they were all in the living room having a meeting. We get to crash a party. I break down the door. The coven of about 30 vampires was in the huge living room. They all stared stupidly at us. Did we come at a bad time? I mocked. What the hell do you want? Snarled Tanya. We have come to ask you something. I quickly went into an explanation and asked them to fight and train. When I was done, some looked convinced. Others did not. I'm not convinced, Tanya said. Would you like me to convince to you? I asked with a sweet vindictive smile. Reese elbowed me in the ribs. I sighed. David, the one I changed, held Tanya closer. Well, maybe this will convince you. You don't fight, you will become slaves, I said in a deadly voice. The vampiress looked nervous. We will fight the Volturi if we have to, David retorted. I looked him in the eye. You will fight and you will lose. You only have 30 members in your house and it wasn't even enough to stop Reese and me. You think you have a chance against the Volturi, just because you are a new vampire and have new powers and strength. You would be dead before you even knew what happened, I replied. You're the one who changed me, aren't you? David asked. Yeah, so? Tanya glared at me. Listen, I don't have time for this. Either you come and train or you become slaves. I gave them the ultimatum. Fine, Tanya said. Then come on. The others had been standing quietly and they followed me out. The coven hesitantly followed. XXXXXXXXX. When we got back, I decided that the rest of the vampires would catch the other coven up on training. I would deal with the Cullens. We walked into the backyard. I had Alicia and Kira for the lookout to make sure that no one was spying on us. I would work on the physiological part of the training. I would have to dive into their mind and find their desires. This would teach them to fight those in their mind, because I knew that there were vamps on the Volturi side that could make you hear things. Listen, we are going to work on the mind, I told them. They sighed in relief that they were not going to get hurt today. I wouldn't feel relieved just yet. I am going to go into your mind and find your desires and use them against you, I told them. They looked worried. I smirked. Who is going to start? Carlisle stepped up. I look into his mind. His fear is to lose Esme, and to be completely alone. Esme is gone. She's not coming back. She's dead. You are alone. There is no one to love you. I whisper in his mind. No, please, not her, anyone but her, he pleaded. The others were looking at him worried. End your existence. There is no reason for you to live. End your existence. Carlisle nodded. I pulled out of his mind. After I stopped whispering in his mind, he pulled himself together and held Esme close. That is what finding out your deepest desires and fears can do to you. Next, I looked at them. They looked nervous. Emmett volunteered. He was afraid of about the same thing that Carlisle was. He couldn't stand to lose her. What if I made her seem different in his eyes? Emmett, Rosalie isn't what she seems. She's cheating on you, you know. She doesn't care about you. Look at her. He glances at Rosalie. I saw her. She doesn't care. She never cared. Did you think that someone that beautiful could want you? But she's not beautiful. She's a hag. It's cute. You actually thought she loved you. I laughed just for effects. No, she does love me, Emmett yelled. He fell to the ground, rocking back and forth, chanting that Rosalie loved him. They can make lies seem the truth, I said. Emmett got up, looking upset but realizing that the voice was lying. Next, Jasper was brave enough to volunteer next. I peeked into his mind. He was afraid of messing up and killing someone. He's afraid that Alice will be disappointed in him and leave him. You killed him, Jasper. You killed that human. You're a killer. How could you do that? You were supposed to be okay. Alice is so disappointed in you. How could you let her down like that? Is this some kind of sick joke? Don't you love her? You promised Alice that you wouldn't kill anyone. I tell her in her mind. Jasper rushes to Alice's side and starts begging her for forgiveness. This was going to take a while. Rosalie's turn. Rosalie wanted to be human. That was pathetic. Well, look who wants to be human. You are a disgrace to the vampire race. You wanted to have children and grow old with the person you love. It's too bad. You're never going to hear your child's laugh or watch her grow up. You always wanted a little girl. Well, you can't now, can you? She fell to the ground sobbing. Emmett came and scooped her up into his arms looking concerned. Only 3 were left now. Esme was next. She feared losing all of her family. It was similar to Carlisle's. They died, Esme, and it's your entire fault. You were not there to save them. It's not like you could. You're too sweet-hearted to do what needs to be done. So go on and decorate your house and leave the hard stuff to them. She started to sob, saying that the voice was right. I felt bad seeing her like this. But this was a battle. It's not for people who can't handle it. Edward was next. I had a feeling what his desire would be. He wanted to have me back more than anything. Great, I was right. You're not going to get her back. Bella hates you. I whisper. She doesn't want someone who hurt her like you. You betrayed her. Why should she trust you? You have no reason of why you left. Look at her. She has moved on. What if she was with someone else? What if someone took your place? No, don't replace me. Please don't replace me, he yelled. I sighed. Alice. I motioned her to step up. It was her turn. Her biggest fear was that Jasper would hurt someone and leave her. It was almost the same as Jasper's. Jasper's leaving, you know. He hurt someone. You didn't stop him. It's your fault that he is leaving. You were too busy shopping to notice that your own husband was in trouble of losing control. You have lost the one person you love the most because you wanted to buy a cute sweater you saw. No, I'm never going shopping again, she sobs. This is what happens when you allow people into your mind. You have to learn to block it and not listen. Just tell the voice to shut the hell up, I told them. It's weird that I'm telling them how to get rid of voices inside their head. I'm going to train you and show you how to. Block it all and focus your energy on the fight. Picture a wall. Remember that your mind is your own. I went through each of their minds again. They almost blocked me out. So I kept on taunting in their mind before they got it. We walked over to see how the other coven and the vampiress were doing. They were still working on endurance. From the look of the vampiress were hitting them pretty hard. That's good enough. We need to work on other things, I stated. What do we need to work on now? Reese asked. My favorite thing. Sword fighting. Bella paused. Sword fighting? Reese repeated, raising an eyebrow. I nodded. I get a little violent when I sword fight. Well, more violent than I already am. Keep working with the coven and I'll work with the Cullens, I say, rolling my eyes. Why is it always me that gets stuck with the bad missions? I sigh. The things I do for vampires. I walk over to the Cullens, who were collecting themselves after the mental portion of the training. Okay, we are going to start the weapon portion of the training. I must warn you that I get a little violent when I sword fight, I told them. You mean more violent than you already are? Emmett asked jokingly. I glare at him. He tries to hide behind Rosalie. I roll my eyes, as if Rosalie's petite figure could hide his bulking one. I pull out 2 Tai Chi straight swords. This was suggested by Scotia. Thank you. Scotia also described the way it was used, so again thank you. I had perfected the swords so that they would cut through vampire skin. It was a very good accomplishment if I do say so myself. I tossed the sword to Edward. Let's go, pretty boy, I said, smirking. The others snickered at the nickname. You think I'm pretty? Edward teased. In a girly way, I guess. But you know what they say about pretty boys. All face and no brain. That wiped the smirk off his face. Okay, so get prepared, and whatever you do, don't get frustrated. Think of the next move before it happens, I said. Edward came toward me with a swift moment. I expected it, so I moved out of the way and struck. It was like a deadly dance with such grace that it even surprised me. I struck and he ducked. He struck and I blocked. We were fighting with all we had. I was surprised that he was so good with a sword, but I could tell that his patience was waning and he was getting frustrated. That would be the death of him. I felt a pang in my heart at the thought of him dying. It was like ballet, except without those horrible pink, frilly tutus. I shudder at the thought. He tried to bring the sword down, but I blocked. I swiped at his sword arm and cut him. He winced. Didn't I teach him anything about pain? You never let your opponent see weakness. He didn't bleed since we have no blood. The wound was open for a second but closed almost immediately closed because it was so small. A crowd had surrounded us. The girls in the vampirus were watching and rooting for me. He was mad now. He swung the sword several times at me, but he was so mad that he missed and I took my chance. I swung the sword and knocked the sword out of his hands. He was no match for me without a sword. Not that he was a match for me anyway. He looked at me with fear. I kicked the back of his knees so that he fell onto his back. I put one foot on his chest and the sword at his throat so that he couldn't get up. You got frustrated. That is going to get you killed. You have been living for over a century. I think you have earned a little patience. If you are angry, then harness that anger to your advantage. If you let it rule you, then you will get hurt. You're pretty good. I smile and help him up. He looks at me in surprise like he couldn't believe that I had complimented him. Wow, Bella, you complimented him and helped him up. This is a momentous occasion. Reese joked. I threw her a glare. Keep practicing with the rest of your family, Edward, I ordered. You could use the help on harnessing your anger and frustration. Where are you going? Asked Reese. I'm going inside. I have to prepare. I walked inside the house and went upstairs and plopped on the bed in my room. In a couple of days I would be dead. I wondered how I could take my death so calmly. I guess it was because of the fact that I was dying for the vampire race. I didn't want to die, but I would do what I had to do. Then there was Edward, who I was starting to actually be nice to. It was something I thought I would never do. What are you doing, my sexy Bella? It was Parker. What is this pester Bella day? I asked him, annoyed. No, but I could annoy you anyway. I saw that smile that you gave Edward. It wasn't one of those predatory smiles that you usually have. It was one of those smiles that says that you are falling for him, he said. Don't be stupid. If you keep this up, I might have to kick your ass to knock some sense into you, I snapped. Well, what is he going to do when he finds out your deep dark secret? What is he going to do when he sees your true face? I mean the vampiress, and you are not like other vampires and we both know it, he said. I glare at him. How is him and his family going to react when they find out? That Snow White is really a witch in disguise. He ran his hand along my jaw. I look away. You tell them and I'll kill you like I said, I snarled. I point to the door. He walks out chuckling. Son of a bitch, I whisper. Who is? Reese asked, walking in. Parker. He threatened to tell the Cullens about my past. Them turning on me is the last thing we need. I know we don't want to admit it, but we can't beat them on our own. I told her. You're right. He is a son of a bitch. That was a long time ago. Reese sounded angry. He also threatened to tell them that we are different. I saw Reese stiffen next to me. We may be different from other vampires, but we are still vampires. I'm going to go warn the rest of the vampires about this. They are not going to be happy that Parker is threatening our leader. We are very protective of you, you know, she said. I smiled because I knew it was true. How are the covens doing with the training? Well, I have to say that they are determined, she replied. But, I could sense the but in the sentence. But I think the other vampiresses are close to pulling their hair out. The Cullens are doing well. Speaking of the Cullens, I saw you smile at Edward today. You wouldn't happen to start to liking him again, would you? She inquired. No, Reese, there is a battle coming. I have more to think about than my hormones, I reply wryly. Vampires don't have hormones, Bella, Reese said with a smile in her voice. Well, if you are going to be a smart ass, then you can go deal with the covens, I retorted. She groaned. Shoo. She walked out while throwing me one last dirty look. I guess it was time to see how the covens were doing. When I walked outside, everyone was practicing. The vampires were making comments about what they should or shouldn't have done. Stop, I yell. Everyone stopped what they were doing. Put the weapons in the shed. I pointed to the shed that we kept the weapons. We have to work on stealth, I said to Reese. She nods. Okay, I have never trained a group this big. I looked at the group of 37 vampires, including the Cullens. But that won't stop me from doing what has to be done. I will teach you how to listen, Becca. You can guarantee that the Volturi will have a vampire that either can turn invisible or something. For example, Alicia over here can turn invisible. I motion for her to come up. She walks up to stand beside me. I see a leaf on her shoulder and I brush it off. I feel a magnetic energy move through my cells. I hear everyone gasp. What? I ask. You're invisible, Alicia mumbled. But you can't pass your power to anyone else. I told her. She shakes her head. Reese, come here. She walks over to me. One of Reese's powers is firepower. I think it was because of her hair. Let's see if this is a new power. I touch Reese's arm. I then concentrate on her power. Again I feel the tingling in my cells. It felt like static electricity. I open my hands and will the fire out of my hands. Fire comes shooting out of my hands. Looks like I have a new power. I can take a vampire's power if I touch them, but it only works if I want it to. I think it is only with contact. I try to conjure the fire again without touching Reese on the arm. Nothing happened. How come you get all these powers? We only get one power, David the guy the first change mumbled. Stop being so whiny, I snapped at him. He was jealous. If I could have a headache I would have. Then I remembered the prophecy. A time will come when we face vampire against vampire. In the darkened sky the flame will fall. The flame will fall, I repeat in my mind. Alec, he has the power of the blue flame. He has the power to kill the other vampires. If I steal his power long enough I could kill the Volturi and his guard. But that would mean, I would have to be engulfed by the flame myself. Under the blue she will die. So that is what the prophecy meant. I think that is enough training for today. Let's head inside. For those who need to feed then go with Kira and Alicia. But don't go too far and don't leave any proof that we are here, I ordered. With that some of the vampires left with Kira and Alicia. The rest of us went inside. I need to speak with Reese and the rest of the vampires alone. I will know if anyone that tries to hear our conversation, and you will regret it, I threatened. We walked upstairs and the Cullens looked sad that they weren't included. When we were upstairs I made sure that we couldn't be heard. Okay, I know that not everyone is going to make it. All of you might because you are trained properly. But we all know that not everyone in the coven is going to make it. They haven't had time to really train and they don't have as many powers as you do. You know the drill. If one from our coven falls, you move on. You don't hesitate. That means Ben too, Reese, I said. She looked down and nodded. We are the vampires. We are the mightiest vampires. We see our prey and we take them out, I said in a fierce voice. They all looked at me with determination. You guys get down there and fill Kira and Alicia in. I have to plan. We can't go into battle without a plan. They nodded and headed downstairs. There was only 2 days left. It was 2 days till my death. But I couldn't concentrate on that so I began to plan. It was quiet and the covens were mentally and physically preparing themselves for the battle. They needed to loosen up. Maybe we could have a betting pool on fights. But that would be wrong. But then again, when have I ever in my vampire existence cared about that? Okay people, we need to loosen up. Parker, keep your comments to yourself, I said as he opened his mouth to speak. So we are going to have a betting pool on who will win a fight between 2 people that the audience picks. So are there any suggestions? I ask. Edward and you, Reese yells. Well Edward, are you up for the challenge? He nods. I grab a sword and toss it to him and grabbed a sword myself. Okay, this is going to be like the sword training but different. You can use your hands and fists and you can kick. What are your stakes? I regretted saying that as soon as it came out of my mouth. Fine, if I win then you give me a kiss, a long lingering kiss, he said. Okay, what do I get if I win? Whatever you want. He couldn't think of anything. Deal. Don't hold back cause you know I won't. We got in the fighting stance. Then it began. I struck first, bringing the blade to strike his side. He blocked in one quick motion. He kicked out to move my sword. But I moved it because I knew that if he kicked it, it would go out of my hands. We attacked each other with such speed that a vampire would have had trouble keeping up. We were like snakes striking at each other. He must really want that kiss. He struck again, bringing the sword at a weird angle, hoping to catch me off guard. But he had no such luck. I jumped up on a chair that was in the backyard and kicked him in the face. He stumbled but didn't fall. Shit, what was it going to take? I tried to hit the sword out of his hand but with no avail. He tried to grab my arm. Well, he was going to have to pay the consequences. I grabbed his opposite arm and yanked both of us through the dining room window. It was a huge glass window. The glass broke and shattered everywhere as we went in and fell on the dining room floor. But we still didn't stop fighting. It was as if we were in a fight to the death. I kicked his face as I was getting up and he fell backwards. Edward quickly got up and tried to slash my arm. This time he succeeded. I looked at him in shock. His face looked pained. I punched him in his, oh so pretty face. I jumped back through the window to the backyard. The others were watching with wide eyes. He followed me out. He swung his sword again but missed. I brought my foot around and kicked him in the stomach. Edward swung down the sword with such ferocity that it knocked the sword out of my hands. Everyone gasped. I wasn't out yet though. I did a backflip and it kicked him in the face, accidentally. I tried to grab the sword out of his hands. Big mistake. He flipped me over onto my back. Before I knew it there was a sword at my throat. I had been beat. Oh shit, I heard Reese mutter. You win, I said, defeated. He let the sword up, smirking, but he still had a pained expression, like he couldn't believe what he did. It was time to wipe that smirk off his face. Hey Edward, I said, looking up at him. I whipped my leg around and hit him in the back of the knee again. He fell on his back beside me. Never let your guard down. Reese and the others laughed. I jumped and helped him up. Well, he finally got you on your back, Bella, Reese laughed. I heard the double meaning in those words. I conjured a low-heat lightning bolt and it struck her. Hey, no fair, she whined. I believe you owe me a kiss, I heard a voice behind me. I guess I do, I replied smoothly. I moved my face close to his. His eyes were filled with anticipation. I brought my lips about an inch from his lips and stopped. I was teasing him and I knew it. He knew it. My breath washed over his face. Then finally our lips touched. We stayed like that for a few seconds. I had promised to give him a lingering kiss. We finally broke apart and I stepped back. It was a deal, right? It was only a deal. Alice gasped. Everyone looked at her. She was having a vision. The Volturi were going to be here in 20 minutes. I glanced at my watch. It was 6 o'clock. The sun would be coming up in an hour. We have to get them ready, I said to Reese. She nodded. What do you want the girls to wear? She asked, motioning to the Coven girls. They can wear some of my clothes, I replied. Yeah, that will get the guys' attention. If they wear your skanky clothes, she teased. Well, you wear skanky clothes too. But at least mine don't clash with my hair, I teased back. That's no fair. You know my favorite color is pink and red, and it's not my fault that those colors clash with my hair, she snapped. I rolled my eyes. Reese took the girls to get battle clothing and Edward took the men. I got ready by putting on black leather pants and a black top. My tattoos were painted on the side of my face as always. My boots were knee-length and a very sharp heel. I put bracelets on. My hair was put in a simple ponytail. I got knives and 2 swords and put them in a sword-holding thing that I was wearing with my outfit. Don't know the name of a knife and sword-holding thing. The others were ready. I had to admiral it that Edward looked good in blue jeans and a black shirt. He was gaping at me. I walked up to him and gave him a peck on the lips and winked at him. Let's go. By the way, if any of you fall, you have to save yourselves, because most of us will be too busy killing the enemy. I led them to a clearing that the Volturi were at. They were standing there. There were 90 to 100 of them. I never knew they had so many guards. But then again, they probably recruited some vampires with promises of power. The vampiress and I were at the front. Arrow, Marcus, and Keys were in the front of their soldiers. Hello Arrow, Marcus, Keys. I greeted them curtly. Hello Bella, Arrow greeted. Are you sure you want to do this? I can't let you imprison vampires. You have no right, I snapped. I do have the right. We have the power and we will rule. Arrow said, smiling. Fine, we will fight you with everything we've got, I replied coolly. But I wonder if you would have half of the warriors you do, if they knew your secret. I tensed. Well, Edward, my boy, did you know that your little Bella has a horrible secret? He looked at Edward and his family. They looked at each other. I bet none of them besides O's in the vampiress know about your past, Bella. I think I should tell them, Arrow says, smiling. Well, you should know that Bella here is a murderer. You see, about 1 year after she came to the Volturi, she sort of snapped. She murdered everything in her way. It didn't matter what it was. It could have been vampire or human. She killed countless humans and quite a few vampires, Arrow explained. I looked down. Everyone, except for the vampiress, had looks of horror on her face. I think she enjoyed being what she was. I mean, if you think about it, she still kills. I mean, she changed one of you in the crowd. I don't know which one. I mean, we killed humans to feed. She killed just because she could. Why do you think she is a great warrior? It's because she is made for it. When he finished the CU, Jens and everyone in the other coven were staring at me, begging me to tell them it was a lie. But it wasn't. I had done all those things. But there was nothing I regretted more than murdering all those people and vampires. Is it true? Edward asked. It's true, I looked back at Arrow. You know that I regret that more than anything. Yes, but you still change or kill humans. I may tell you who your target is, but you and the rest of the vampires still kill or change them, Arrow retorted. We do that for the sake of the vampire race, which by the way you want to imprison. That is why we are here, I said. Fine, but the vampiress and you need to reveal your battle faces. He then addressed the others on our side. As you know, the vampires in the vampiress are different in power. But they are also different when it comes to their battle face, I guess you could say. Show them, girls, he said, smiling again. We all looked at each other and I nodded. We all grew fangs. They were long, that were sharper than normal. Our nails grew. They were as sharp as glass and hard as nails. Our eyes flashed like cat's eyes. We were deadly. The Cullens and the Denali coven were looking at us in awe and fear. Let the battle begin. I got those three. I pointed to Arrow, Marcus, and Keys. She nodded. You get Jane and make sure she is out of the game. I'll get Alec. Again she nodded. Now, I yelled, since I haven't named all the vampires in the vampiress, I'm going to give them names. There are 7 in total including Bella. I've named Reese, Kira, and Alicia. The other 3's names are Elizabeth, Tori, and Ashley. We charged into the battle. I tackled Arrow first. I didn't know what was going on around me. I knocked him to the ground and kicked him in the stomach. Marcus tackled me from the side. He had a hold of my leg, so I kicked him in the face. He grunted and let go. Arrow grabbed me by my hair and pulled me to my feet. You chose the wrong side, Isabella, he hissed. Whatever, I grabbed his hand and pulled it out of my hair. I brought my arm down and broke his arm. I was satisfied when I heard a loud crack. He let go, howling. Keys grabbed my hand and twisted. It hurt too. I Ked high hand so that he was knocked into another vampire. I conjured a lightning bolt at full heat. It struck them head on. Nothing was left but a pile of ashes. 1 down, 2 to go. I used my power of telekinesis to move Marcus. I slammed him into Arrow, who was still nursing his broken hand. They both fell. I glanced over at Reese. She was battling with Jane. I had taught her endurance of pain, and that was the only thing keeping her alive. I could tell that she was in pain because of Jane's power. They were sword fighting. I made a mistake. I let my guard down. Marcus grabbed my leg and bit my leg. He actually bit my leg. I yelped, so I grabbed his arm and bit him back. I know it is so preschool, but I couldn't help myself. Except with my fangs it hurt worse. He looked at me in shock. What, you bite me and I'm not allowed to bite back? I asked. I still have my sense of humor. I plunged a sword into his back. He fell still. Marcus was dead. Arrow screamed in anger. He grabbed a sword that was sticking out of Marcus. I grabbed my second sword. We dueled. I cut him and he cut me. We knew that one of us would be dead soon. I swiped and he ducked. He almost stabbed me, but I sucked in my stomach and he missed me by an inch. I could feel someone sneaking up on me. I quickly pulled out a knife and threw it behind me. It struck a vampire. I didn't know who it was, but I know it hit them in the heart. I punched Arrow in the face. He kicked me and I fell on my butt. Arrow raised his sword up high to strike me. I took my chance. I plunged my sword into his chest. I watched as the life left his eyes. The life in him faded and he slumped down. I pulled my sword out of his chest and went to see how the others were doing. Reese was still battling Jane. They both looked beaten up, but Jane looked worse. With one quick swipe, Reese decapitated Jane. Her head rolled onto the ground. That is a gross image. I nodded to her and she nodded back. I saw from the corner of my eye Edward. He had 3 vamps GHTING him, and another was creeping up on him with a knife. I used my power to knock him into the other vamps. I won't save your ass again. I yell at him, but I'm smiling. Then I see him. Alec. He's standing in the middle of the chaos. He was looking at Jane's body and was about to go after Reese. I run over to him. I stand in front of him. Get out of the way, he snarls. I shake my head. Alec goes to strike me, but I grab both of his hands. I feel the magnetic force. He can do nothing. The blue fire starts to come out of my fingertips. Alec seemed frozen. I will the flames to go to the enemy. Everyone seemed to freeze. They are all looking at me. The fire started to engulf the opposing side. My warriors backed away and watched them burn with wide eyes. Arrow's warriors screamed in pain. Their skin turned black. Soon there was nothing left but a pile of ashes. They floated all around. Now there was time for one more thing. I looked around. The Cullens had made it. They were battered and bruised. We had lost most of our vampires. Tanya's body was next to David's. They had died together. I hope this works. I willed the flames to heal. It spreads like wildfire. It danced across their skins. Their cuts and bruises disappear. Soon the vampires that were on our side that were dead healed. Tanya and David sat up and hugged each other. The fire had engulfed me too, but not in the good way. I think that healing them would make the fire kill me. I don't know why, but that is the way it is. I let go of Alec. He fell to the ground screaming as the fire seared his flesh. He would soon be like the others on his side. Everyone was looking at her in horror. I felt the burning. It felt like someone had set me on fire from the inside. The vampiress and the Cullens were screaming my name. They don't understand. This is my penance for everything I had done. They would be okay without me. I whisper my last words. I love you, Edward. With that I let go and closed my eyes. Everyone watched, as the body of Bella Swan fell to the ground. Edward's paw. I love you, Edward, my Bella whispered, as she was engulfed with blue flames. She loved me, but I realized too late that she was saying them as her last words. She fell into a crumbled heap on the ground. I felt my heart break. Bella, Reese and the others screamed. I felt numb. We ran over to her and knelt by her body. Bella, wake up. Bella, wake up, Reese yelled. She started to pound on her chest as if she would come back to life. Ben grabbed her and pulled her back. She struggled but then started to sob into his chest. I looked around. My family was dry sobbing. Alice looked as if she'd hyperventilate. Emmett's tough exterior was gone. He looked lost and confused. He looked as if someone would jump out and say April Fools. But no one did. Jasper had lost her cool attitude and looked as if he had lost his sister. In many ways he had. Rosalie was sobbing into Emmett's chest and he was trying to be strong for her. Carlisle and Esme had lost a daughter. You can imagine what they felt like. I looked down at her lifeless body and I lost it. I began to sob and yell at her for leaving me. My life would never be the same. I gently picked her up and cradled her to my chest. She was gone. Seconds, minutes, hours. I didn't know how much time had passed as we stood there looking at Bella. I didn't care. Edward, we need to take her inside. We will give her a proper burial soon. Carlisle struggled to get out. I nodded numbly. I would give her a proper burial. I gently picked her up while the Denali coven cleaned up the mess of the battle. My family and the rest of the vampires followed me. I laid her down on the couch. She looked as though she was sleeping. Her eyes were closed and she had a slight smile. It was the most peaceful anyone had seen her. She was no longer guarded. I'm going to go to my room and be alone, Reese chalked out. She walked up the stairs and my family left me to be alone with Bella. Reese's paw. My best friend was gone. She gave her life for those who died and for the vampire race. That was Bella. She never thought about herself. I guess she thought it was her department for what she did. Bella accepted what and who she was. She helped the vampiress and me accept who we are. I reached my room. The first thing to catch my attention was a letter. Reese. It was written in the front of the envelope. It was in Bella's handwriting. My fingers were trembling as I opened the envelope. Reese, if you're reading this, then I'm dead. I know that that's blunt, but you have got to accept it. Things happen for a reason. I died for a reason. You may not know that reason yet, but you will soon. So don't be mad or lash out. Since you are second in command of the vampiress, you are the leader. Keep on fighting. Keep the vampire race safe for me. Reese, this is my penance. I'm not perfect. I want you to know that I do regret what I did. You are the best friend anyone could ever have. Be safe, Bella. I was sobbing now. Bella acted as though she knew that she was going to die. But she couldn't have unless. The prophecy book. I ran to Bella's room. The book was lying there on the desk. I flipped through it. A passage caught my eye. A time will come when we face vampire against vampire. In the darkened sky, the flame will fall. When day becomes night, upon the willing victim, the chosen leader, the vampiress Isabella, the one to lead the victory. Under the blue flame she will die. To save those dear to her she will perish under the flame. Those who oppose her will also perish in the fire. The vampire race will be safe. She knew about her own death and she didn't even try to stop it. Edward's paw. Bella's skin was smooth and cold to the touch. If I knew any better I would say she was asleep. But she wasn't. She wasn't going to wake up. Reese came storming into the room. She knew. She shrieked. The others had gathered to see what the noise was about. None of them were smiling. They had no joy in their eyes. They were just blank. What are you talking about? Carlisle asked. He was always the voice of reason. Reese slammed a book on the table. We all gathered around it. I don't read Egyptian, I snapped. Reese read what it said. We all stood in silence. She knew. Why would she do that? She knew she was going to die. She could have asked us to help her, I yelled. Calm yourself, Edward. Carlyle snapped. Bella did what she did for a reason. What reason? We could have helped, I replied. Could you have really? What would you have done? You and I both know that we would have lost the war if she hadn't done that, he yelled right back. I'm glad that she's gone. I mean, look at her past. She is better off dead where she won't be a menace to us anymore, Tanya said. I looked at her angrily. Reese moved quickly and grabbed Tanya's neck, pinning her to the wall. You little bitch, Bella gave her life for you and your clan. So if you value your life, then you better appreciate it. Reese snarled. I had never seen her that angry. She let Tanya go. David and Tanya walked out of the room. I found this in her room. Reese handed me a note. The others took his hint and left the room. The envelope consisted of one letter in Bella's handwriting. My dearest Edward. That greeting sounded like some cheesy 18th century letter. I know that right now I'm dead. I also know that you know that I knew. Wow, there has got to be something wrong with that sentence. I didn't tell you that I was destined to die because you would try to save me. I couldn't be saved. I had to do this. Not only for the vampires but also for me. I don't know what you think of me now that you know my dark secret. I do regret murdering all those people. I regret it every day of my life. But I also want you to know that I don't regret becoming a vampire. I regret some of the things I did, as I said. I'm not evil. Keep your faith. You could call this my penance. I love you. I know I haven't shown you it, but I do. I want you to move on and find someone else to be happy with. But always know that I love you. Goodbye. With all the love in my heart. Bella. How can she ask me to move on? She was my everything. I found out that she loves me and then she dies. Then it happened. The one thing that I hadn't done in over a century. A tear slid down my cheek and it fell on Bella. No more came after that. I started to sob in her chest. You know it's not nice to sob on people, came a faint voice from beneath me. I looked down and Bella was staring up at me with sleepy eyes. What? How? I couldn't complete a sentence. Breath and say complete sentences, Bella commanded. How are you alive? I asked. She was alive. I have no idea, Bella said. Are you complaining? No. What's all the shouting about? I am trying to mourn. Reese walked in with a furious expression. It's good to see you too, Reese. Reese stared long and hard at her. She looked at her as if she was making sure she was real. Bella, she whispered. Yeah. Reese ran to her and actually pushed me out of the way. Reese was hugging her fiercely. Both girls were sobbing. My family had come into the room to see what the noise was about again. They did a double take and stared at Bella. Bella, Alice yelled and threw herself at Bella. The rest of them and the vampiress soon joined her. You know, if I was human I would have suffocated by now. I wasn't dead but a few hours, I think, Bella said, grinning. But you were dead and now you are alive. How? Reese asked. My body did not burn because I healed those on our side. It said my body but killed me in the process. I think I came back because of Edward. Everyone looked at me. You felt so sad that a rare thing occurred, Edward. You shed a tear. It is very rare for this to happen. But I think it revived me somehow. You saved me, she explained and pulled me into a hug. My Bella was back. I had my Bella after all we had been through. She got up from the couch. By the way, Bella, I am mad at you that you didn't tell me that you knew that you were going to die, Reese said. Bella just smiled. Let me talk to Edward alone, she requested. The others nodded. I want to thank you. You were great on the battlefield and you made me proud, she started. What about us? I asked her. I would like to give it a try, but I'm warning you. If you break my heart then you will regret it. I will hunt you down and make you pay. I don't even want to mention what the vampiress will do, I smiled. She was still tough but she opened up a little. Bella then leaned up and gave me a kiss that I had been waiting for. Ah, the vampiress chorused in union. I think our leader is going soft, Kira whispered. Bella shot a glare at her. I am still your leader, Bella shot. How about we celebrate? Let's go to the club, Rosalie suggested. Everyone nodded in agreement. I'll go get dressed, Bella stated. She came down in jeans and a black halter top with ankle-high boots. They set off to the club. Bella's pav. I was happy to be alive. And I was with Edward. I watched as the people on the dance floor moved their bodies to the rhythm. I joined my friends on the dance floor. As I swayed to the music I can't help but feel at peace. Edward joined me. He pulled me closer and somehow I felt all right. I was with my one true love and my friends. I love you, Edward murmurs. I love you too. Edward pulled me close, but no one noticed that Bella's eyes flashed blue, the same color of the flame that engulfed her. The end.